A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones. But their caravans were being raided in a forest north of Rangoon by a bandit. So we went looking for the stones. But in 6 months, we never met anyone who traded with him. One day, I saw a child playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine. The bandit had been throwing them away.
So why steal them?
Well, because he thought it was good sport. Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-hosts,
Abraham
and Nick.
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm chilling today.
I'm doing real good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Nothing but Batman this weekend, man.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So you checked this one out, and then
The Batman.
And then The Batman.
Yes, I didn't watch all three of these. I'm kind of movied out from all the Twilights.
Yeah.
So yeah, just The Batman and The Dark Knight.
Okay.
So.
I had the urge to go through and watch the whole trilogy, but time didn't permit.
Yeah.
But this is one of those movies where like I'm perfectly fine with just watching like a random one in the trilogy. Like I think the same thing with Before Sunrise.
Just
like
yeah.
I could put on Before Sunrise and not watch Before Sunset or Before Midnight, and just be like, I just love Before Sunrise for what it is, right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing with this movie.
Oh yeah.
This movie is perfect, like as a standalone and all that stuff. But I think it's interesting that you did go and watch the newest rendition of Batman, because I haven't checked it out since I saw it in theaters, and I've been meaning to watch it again. I just don't have. Anytime I get free time, I'm like, oh, do I want to watch that again, or do I want to check out something new?
Yeah, that's the hardest part about watching, like about a big movie collection that you've not watched.
Yeah,
it's like, do I watch the one I bought a month ago that I still haven't got to, or do I watch a tried and true great movie?
Yeah.
I suggest you make time for it, though. It's great.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I saw it in theaters, I was loving every second of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can have the debate of what we like best and who we think did better in both the Batman and the Joker, because we've got a whole bunch of Jokers now. We've got a whole bunch of Batmans.
Yeah.
We've got a whole bunch of different designs, too.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see what our favorites are.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
You don't know how different from each movie
they are.
Yeah. Like, one's a tank.
Yeah, one's
a legit tank, and then another one's like a muscle car that looks...
It looks so sick.
The muscle car is insane.
I love it.
Doesn't
when
look
it
sick.
turned on,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Love it.
Yeah.
So
hearing that
just
in theaters was insane.
Just thinking about the Batman and Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman, there's just something in me. I just love it. Like
Me too.
Something's in.
Yeah. I love it, man. I can't. There's something about it where I just can't not like it.
True.
Yeah.
Now, is it your favorite?
I don't know, man, because this is what I grew up with.
I gotta say it's my favorite because I've only seen this one and the Batman.
Okay, you didn't watch the trilogy?
I've never seen the trilogy. This is my first time ever seeing this one fully through.
Oh,
like I said in the last episode, I've seen bits and pieces, but not fully through.
Yeah.
And I like the Batman more.
Okay. Well, the movie we're going to be talking about is, as we revealed last week, The Dark Knight. It came out in 2008. It was written by Christopher and Jonathan Nolan and directed by Christopher Nolan. And I remember this movie coming out, and I immediately wanted to watch it because I was such a big fan of Batman Begins whenever it came out in 2005. And I had a PlayStation 2 game that was the Batman Begins game, and this was like at a time where like every movie had a game for some reason afterwards.
And they were never that great, though? Or was this one good?
This one was good.
Okay.
I really liked the Batman Begins game because there are portions where, you know, you have to be stealth and you got to access certain parts of, you know, the map and stuff and everything. And then there's other parts where you can really fight and everything.
Mhm.
And Batman games would only go on to be better once like Arkham
Knight,
Arkham Knight,
Asylum.
and Arkham City came out, and all
Mhm.
those games perfected the Batman game genre.
Dude, the combat in those games are so satisfying.
Yeah.
You're going, "Bah, bah, 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 bah."
Yeah,
It's so cool.
I love it. But yeah, my first whole exposure with Batman, well, I guess Batman as a comic book character was through the animated series that was around in the 90s.
Yeah, didn't he
And-
recently pass away, that guy?
Yeah, the voice actor did, yes.
Rest in peace. I remember people were really, you know, upset about that or you know, sad.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I might have to look for it.
Yeah, but I had my first exposure through Batman through the animated series because it would always play on Cartoon Network like late at night. And I remember loving the series as a kid. And then around 2005, Batman Begins comes out. My parents take me to go see it, and I was like, this is sick. I love this, right? And 2008 rolls around. I'm in middle school. And I remember Batman, The Dark Knight had just come out, and I was with a friend. We were in Merced, and his mom was driving us around from like GameStop to GameStop to look for games that he was wanting. And we were looking for something else to do. And I suggested The Dark Knight. I really want to go watch The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom was like, oh, I don't know. It's PG-13. I don't know if your mom would let you, blah, blah, blah. And I had to be like, no, she will. She will. Like, she wouldn't mind. She wouldn't mind. And, like, we ended up not going. And I remember being so upset because, like, that was, like, my one shot to go see it because at the time my parents weren't really letting us go to the movies due to money restrictions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had to wait until the movie came out physically to watch it. So when I actually watched it physically, I was blown away, but I was late to the party. And I was just like, dude, this movie is incredible. And this was one of the first movies that I had watched where I was like, dude, I love the villain. Like,
Joker.
The villain in this movie, I want to see more of him more than I do the hero. like I just loved Joker, and I loved Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. And I don't know if it came at like a time in my life where it was like very formative for me, but I was just like, dude, this is sick. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And like I was obsessed. I loved everything about it. And then whenever I found out that he had died, Heath Ledger unfortunately passed away during the production of the movie. I was just like shattered because I was like, man, we're never going to get another one like with Joker in it. That's so crazy. And then The Dark Knight Rises wouldn't come out until 2012. So
Focusing on a whole different...
yeah, a whole new villain
yeah.
with Bane and all that stuff. And this would be Christian Bale's last, reprisal of the Batman role and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so these movies have just been like at really key points in my life. Like 2012 came around, I was like just going into high school, and I was just like, this is gonna be sick. Like I'm really excited about this. I remember I played water polo at the time, and I like loved the score to The Dark Knight Rises. And so before
Hans Zimmer.
before I would go out to our water polo games, I would put my iPod in, and that certain track where you hear that, I'd put that on and I'd just get hyped and then get in the pool and play water polo.
Oh, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
He's been around with you forever.
Yeah.
So is Batman your favorite superhero then?
Yes.
No.
No, it's not mine.
Okay.
Not on
Well,
the top
maybe in DC?
In
five. In
DC.
DC?
Gosh, I don't really think about DC.
I don't even
All
think
the
about
movies
DC.
Suck.
Yeah, they have a bad rep. There are some
Like-
gems in there every now and then, but they do get a really bad rep.
Yeah.
I guess I would say maybe like the Soul Surfer.
Souls. The Silver Surfer?
The Silver Surfer.
That's Marvel, bruh.
Is it?
Yeah.
Silver,
Well,
that's
now it
Fantastic
is.
Four.
Wasn't
Well,
that DC?
it's fantastic. No, I don't think it was
Oh,
because it was
never
owned by
mind.
Fox earlier.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's DC because Fox.
So that
Never mind.
nobody, they haven't really tied in very much. Marvel's like all our things are tied in, except now the mutants are finally coming in.
Yeah.
They're mutants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I don't know.
I would have to say I think the Flash
Oh,
Okay.
Storm? How am I?
You're still a Marvel, homie.
That's Marvel, bro. X-Men is Marvel.
Get out of the mutants. You got to go to like Superman,
Aquaman.
yeah, Aquaman,
Batman.
Green Lantern,
Yeah.
Ew, bro.
like the Justice League people. But I definitely would say Flash
Okay.
because he's like this. I think I relate to him the most because he's this real nerd kid, and I kind of am too. So I'm like, yeah, and I like his ability a lot. But
Okay.
and I think they did right. I get the first few seasons of the Flash show.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the later ones.
I heard they get doo-doo.
The CW just
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah. But
Yeah.
after watching Dark Knight, I mean, Christian Bale as Batman is just, it's so much more than just a comic book movie
Yeah.
or a hero movie. It's way more than that.
It's the biggest cat and mouse game I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like this movie is No Country for Old Men, but with capes.
Yeah, really. And you've got freaking Anton Chigurh
Yeah.
as Joker, pretty much. They're
Mhm.
both chaos machines. just-
Yeah.
And nobody can stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the... And 2008, they
Yeah,
both came out.
Yeah, and I was talking to these guys a little bit before. 2008 was a crazy year for movies too, because a movie like No Country for Old Men came out, as well as Dark Knight, and There Will Be Blood came out that year. I think Wall-E came out that year.
I think Wall-E came out that year.
Twilight. Like, there's just tons of crazy influential movies that came out in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't seen, or at least to my knowledge, or I guess my opinion, we haven't seen a movie or a year for movies that have been that crazy since 2019.
Yeah, I was about to say 2019.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah. And this is also interesting, too. This movie would go on to win Oscars.
Oh.
Like, this was the first comic book movie that ever won, that ever won an Oscar with Heath Ledger's performance.
I'm just saying, if you took out the comic book aspect, everything would work flawlessly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you know what I mean? It's not like, well, I think one of the things that Christopher Nolan really wanted to do with his rendition of Batman is to ground it in reality.
Yes.
And I think that's what he really does, and that really gets rid of all of this, like, over-the-top comic book, like, there's like a
Yeah.
certain type of dialogue that comic book characters have.
Yeah.
And this isn't like that at all. It deals with really heavy subjects of people dying
Yeah.
all the time in a city that's full of
crime and
filth.
yeah. And also, like, even showing, like, certain characters having to make, like, really hard moral choices.
Serious.
And then coming to the reality that, like, oh, this is supposed to be a comic book movie. And these people are having to decide whether or not I want to blow up a ferry full of other people or not. And then you look back and you're like, wait, there's a guy running around with a cape, like, right now, and he's supposed to be the good guy.
Yeah.
And I'm watching all of this unfold. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and he's almost never shown to be the good guy.
Yeah.
He's the hero that Gotham deserves, but not what it needs. So he's always like being shafted
Yeah.
by both the criminals and the cops.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants him, and yet they need him.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see that like dichotomy of him having to do the right thing and not being like accepted,
Yeah.
and yet they still need him to go around and do all this stuff. And
Yeah.
it's good. And I think this movie focuses a lot on just the crime underbelly of Gotham, because we get a whole bunch of gangs all kind of tied in together with their money,
Yeah.
and that's where this one kind of falls into.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. With this movie, I always thought about like the really big set pieces that happen, especially like the car chase, the ferries, the the dog fight in the beginning. But I never thought about like how everything ties together.
Yeah.
And the more you watch it, the more you realize it's tight. Like
yeah.
everything.
It's tight knit.
Yes, everything works.
Yeah. Everything is weaved together, and there's no loose thread.
No.
I think I agree. I feel like I'm gonna dog on it already, but there's the part that I was confused was with Scarecrow.
Okay.
Now
Right.
Scarecrow comes in the
Yeah.
third movie, or no? Is
And
it the first?
He's the first. He's the villain in the first movie.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a cameo coming back for the
Okay.
second one.
Yeah, and
Because
it's
in the first film, it's Cillian Murphy.
yeah,
who
Cillian
plays,
Murphy.
who
He's
plays
good
Scarecrow.
too. And he goes.
Yeah, and Scarecrow's whole MO in the first film, Batman Begins, is he's like a kind of like a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist type character, and he develops this compound to help Arkham Asylum inmates to kind of like try to go back together or try to like get their act back together. And so what he does is he makes a scarecrow mask, puts it on, and then he sprays these people with the compound, but the compound makes them actually like even crazier, and it ends up being like this like drug. And so the whole first film has to deal with Scarecrow's character wanting to like put that entire drug into all of Gotham's water supply. So that way it like gets all throughout the city of Gotham. Everyone goes crazy, and it's just like irreversible damage that can like never be undone. And the second movie comes around, and he's still around, but he's operating on a much smaller scale, and that's where you see him in the beginning. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I remember watching the first film and being scared of Scarecrow because there was like they make his mask so freaky looking, and especially I was a kid. In 2005, I was probably like 8 or 9. There's like a certain scene too whenever Batman gets sprayed with the chemical, and you see like this black tar coming out of his mouth and stuff and everything. I was just like, oh,
he kind of looks like the Jeepers Creepers character.
Yeah,
I know exactly.
Yeah, and I remember being freaked out by that as a kid.
Yeah, and wasn't the whole theme to that movie like what Batman's most afraid of?
Yeah,
and all
that really the first one really hones in on owning your fear and like conquering it or using your fear as a symbol for something else. And it really hones in on like the origin story of Bruce Wayne and him being afraid of bats as a kid, and then making that his symbol to like fight, you know, and all that stuff. Yeah. First one still is incredible.
Yeah, it is. I'd love to rewatch that one too, because Ra's al Ghul, I remember being a pretty compelling character.
Yeah.
So
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
That mask does seem kind of scary, actually. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
it is. And once you get the toxin, it like changes.
It amplifies everything.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So weird.
But alas,
Let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
Let's get it. Yeah.
give a brief little synopsis. We'll give a spoiler warning if you hadn't seen it, and we'll tell you where to watch it.
Let's do it.
So The Dark Knight, again, came out in 2008, and it is a Batman film that deals with the Batman and Joker. And Joker is wreaking havoc all across Gotham. And it is up to Batman to try to stop it because Joker is tainting not only the city, but he's also pitting mob bosses against one another and trying to just like flip the whole town upside down. And it's up to Batman to try to stop him, and also like try to, in this movie, Batman kind of like wants to hang up the cape and wants to pass on his role of heroism to a guy like Harvey Dent, who can really be a symbol of hope for people. And everyone sees this guy as the White Knight of Gotham. And so Batman is hoping that whenever he beats Joker, that he will be able to stop being Batman, because Harvey Dent will be able to take his place, and Harvey Dent will, you know, continue to clean up Gotham and make it a better place. And as the movie, you know, unfolds, we get to see all the cracks that happen and just how devious the Joker can be, and how psychologically manipulative and brutal he can be, and what Batman does in retaliation. So it's about 2 hours, 30 minutes. It is streaming both on Netflix and HBO Max. So if you have either of those platforms, you can stream it there. I picked up a copy of this at Mad Monk for like $4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this was like when digital copies weren't like the code. So there's 3 discs in there. There's a
standard.
There's a Blu-ray. No, it's a Blu-ray, a special features disc, and then there's a digital copy disc that you got to put in your computer, and it like rips it, and then you can like put it on your iPod or whatever
from the computer. Wow.
Yeah. So it was like way old.
Yeah.
But yeah, pop it in, and if you haven't seen the movie, tell us what you think. If you care about spoilers, pause it. If you don't, continue listening. Totally within your right. You got the choice to do so. So, as always, we're going to start off with our first favorite scene, and I'm going to start, of course, with the intro.
If anyone told me, who cares
skip
about
the intro,
intro.
I'd be like, you cannot.
I'd be like, what are you talking about?
That intro is one of the greatest intros in a movie ever.
Dude.
And I'm saying up front that I don't like Batman, and this is insane.
Anytime I watch the intro to this movie, I walk away from it and I'm like, that is how you open up a movie.
Yeah.
You start out with this tense score that and then you just see just these buildings. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I ever watch this movie and I see that shot of the glass building, I always try to guess what window it is that gets shot out. And you sit there, you get this huge view of this tall skyscraper, and then all of a sudden, window gets blasted out. You see these guys in clown masks putting grappling hooks across buildings and zip lining across a building to be on top of this bank.
Dude.
And then you get that iconic, Nolan shot where it's like the shot of somebody's back, and you see a guy that's unmasked with a duffel bag, and I'm pretty sure he's got a gun just on him, just hanging out. And
it's just he's holding a mask and then a duffel bag. That's all it
Okay.
shows.
You know who it is, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it looks so good. It looks so
does.
sick.
It's crazy.
You see that van comes up, picks him up, and there's just this. It's exposition, but it's done in a way that keeps you so intrigued because all of these guys are working for someone that they know as the Joker, but no one has ever seen him. Right?
They don't even think he's there.
Yeah, exactly. And so these henchmen are working under the disguise of the Joker told us to go rob this bank, and we don't know what he looks like. We hear he wears war paint to like scare people. We hear he's crazy and all this stuff. So you're getting all this background information as to be like, okay, Joker sounds like a crazy guy, right?
Yeah.
This is wild. And as they're going up, these thieves are disarming alarms and backstabbing one another. And, we find out that the Joker, who they call the boss, has told each and every one of them that once a person does their part of the job to take them out, so that way it's one less share for everybody else. So that way, they can keep all the money for themselves and have bigger pots of money. And
So smart.
yeah, it gets to the point where, a guy is trying to undo a vault. Everyone else is, down in the lobby trying to do crowd control. They're taking hostages and giving them live grenades and making them hold on for dear life. If they let go, that frag is going to be set to detonate. So they're making people hold on to these frags. And one of my favorite parts of the whole scene is whenever the manager comes out and he's looking at everything that's going on, and all of a sudden you see just the glass shatter. There's a guy standing in front of the glass, and you just hear
The shotgun.
and all of a sudden he's got a shotgun and he's walking out and just going boom, boom, and just blasting. Yeah, and he's just blasting at all these guys, and he just goes, you're stealing from. You and your friends are dead. And they're hiding in a corner waiting. And another clown is looking at who I think on the subtitles they label the Joker's character as Chuckles or something like that.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, before he actually takes off his mask.
I didn't know that.
And so they said is he out? And then it says Chuckles nods yes or something. And the guy gets up like he's about to shoot him, and then he gets blasted. And then the Joker comes up and just lines him up. And, after that all happens, they go into the vault, they steal all this money, bring it all out to the front. And that guy, the manager who came out shooting, I love this whole reveal.
kill you.
The whole reveal of the Joker.
Simply makes you stranger.
The whole reveal of the Joker here is just iconic to me. And I love he's kind of looks like he's on his last limb, his last little breath. And he's like, the guy who hired you, he doesn't care about you. He's like, criminals, they used to be something in this town. They used to care about honor and respect. And he goes, what do you believe in? What do you believe in? And he puts a smoke bomb in his mask or in his mouth.
Gas mask. I think it's
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
He puts it in his mouth, and then he does the iconic, I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Yeah.
And he pulls off the mask, and you see he's wearing the makeup. He gives him a little grin, and then he, walks away. That bus crashes in, takes one of the guys out. You didn't even mention one of the guys is points the gun at the Joker and says
You're not going to kill me?
yeah, he says I'm betting the boss told you to take me out whenever we were done as soon as we loaded the cash, and I'm not going to let that happen. And he positions him in a way so that way whenever the bus comes in, it just crashes into him, takes him out. And then, after he's taken out, guy hops out of the bus that's driving it, starts loading all the cash, and he goes, what happened to all the rest of the guys? He just goes,
Kills him
just
too.
kills him, and then takes the manager out, gets in the bus, and like perfectly times it to when like school's getting out or something like that, and just
So
drives right
crazy.
into right into like a line of school buses.
Yeah.
And as he's pulling away, all the cops are coming down and pull in.
It's like a flawless execution
Yeah.
of a bank heist.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
And that's the whole intro.
Yeah, it's like a 10-minute sequence. And I have to say, if I was in theaters watching this, I would just be glued to the screen. Like, there's just nonstop action, nonstop tension. And again, it's like the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
So to
it's
start your
insane.
movie off like as strong as it is right here, just only leads you to believe that it's only going to get better throughout the movie.
Right. Yeah, and they're already setting up Joker to be this,
bad guy.
yeah, the ultimate antagonist.
Yeah.
He's this mysterious, yet savage, chaotic villain.
Yeah.
And there's a perfect way to show it right in the intro.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, I also lump in the intro with meeting the Russians and seeing Scarecrow make a cameo whenever they're in the parking garage.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
this is my
okay.
next favorite scene with the whole...
Yeah.
So they're trying to make a deal go down. I think they're doing drugs or something, right? And one of the guys, he's like, I got my dogs and they're hungry. And they're getting all stirred up. And then I think they were almost expecting the Batman to be there.
Yeah.
And the Batman does show up, but this Batman has a gun.
Yeah.
A
Bro,
literal
and
gun.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Did you think it was the Batman?
I was like, there's no way this is him.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought it was. And then you see him get shot, and I was like, yeah.
Well, and there's like more than one.
Yeah, there's one with a straight up like a hunting rifle, and then one's got a Uzi.
Yeah, it's like, what
They have
is
a
happening?
Group of, it's just a group of
Group of guys that want to be
guys
Batman.
that want to be Batman.
Yeah, vigilantes basically.
Yeah.
They get in there and they're, trying to do this in the eyes of justice, and they don't really understand Batman and his one rule,
Yeah.
literal one rule, no killing,
Yeah.
and they're trying to. And then the Batman finally does show up. I can't remember exactly how he does.
I love his reveal. Like one guy, the guy that's walking up with the hunting rifle.
Oh yes, and then
he goes.
he bends that thing.
Bends the barrel of the gun, and then goes boom, and like knocks him out. And then,
Yeah.
Or no, his whole reveal is the Batmobile, like comes crashing through.
Right.
And they have this whole fight at first, and you hear Scarecrow say like, "This
Now
can't
that-
be him. This
now
can't
this
be
is
him." And then the Batmobile rushes through, and he says, "That's more like it."
That's a Batman.
And then Batmobile starts blowing cars up and all this stuff, and then the actual Batman comes in and
Man,
starts taking stuff.
imagine coming after work and then you see his car blown up.
Yeah,
I know. Like, what do you tell your insurance?
Yeah,
company?
what do you
Yeah.
tell?
Batman
Yeah,
blew
that's-
my car
The
up.
Batman. They probably are familiar with that.
Yeah,
The reason I like this is because it's a situation where, and we'll get a couple of these throughout the film, but he's fighting like both sides.
yeah,
He's trying to get these fake Batman to not kill the criminals, and yet
Yeah.
he's still trying to stop the criminals from doing what they're doing.
yeah,
And he's got what we've come to find out is this kind of cumbersome gear
yeah,
that doesn't allow him to move it very well. And one of the biggest, I would say, kryptonites of the suit is dogs.
yeah.
And he gets kind of mauled by
Yeah.
these dogs. He throws them down, and I think
Dude,
it's,
when he yeets that one,
I was like, he won't kill humans, but animals are on the table.
Yeah,
Freaking stuff in the neck. But this leads to one of the iconic scenes. I honestly think it's a great scene.
when he
It's like-
times the jump.
yeah, Killian Murphy.
Ah,
He's
I-
like, "I'm getting out of here," and he goes down. He's going, "Arr!" And the Batman just walks up to the little ledge. He waits and jumps down and lands on top of the thing. I was
Yeah.
I
like,
want to do that, dude.
I
so
love
sick.
it.
This is Batman.
Yeah.
Perfectly right here.
Yeah,
And I just love this whole scene and how it builds tension.
yeah. Then we even get a little bit of comedy towards the end of it too. Whenever he ties up Scarecrow and the Batman wannabes and basically leaves them for the
Oh,
police to
gosh.
come and handle, and he gets back in and he goes like,
They're like, what
The-
makes you so
yeah.
different than us?
yeah, the Batman wannabes are like, they're like, hey, we just want to help. Like, what's the difference between you and me? And you get the iconic, I'm not wearing hockey pads. And he like gets in the Batmobile.
It goes,
and, yeah,
yeah,
goes away.
goes away.
Yeah,
It's cool because you get the introduction to the both main characters and
Yeah.
how
in their own unique way.
yeah, and how powerful they are, and only can imagine them going head to head with each other
Yeah.
later on in the movie.
Yeah.
Just by what you see, how conniving and savage and pretty much a genius this guy is versus the Batman who has got the combat prowess, who's got all the technology, who's got those like, you know, those little
Yeah.
things that
Dude.
pop out. Like he's got everything, and it'll be interesting to see these two go head to head.
Yeah.
That's why I loved it, and you get it immediately distinguishes them too because the Joker kills anyone on a whim, and Batman is stopping people from killing people. It's like two opposite sides of the coin,
Yeah.
and it's great how they set it up like that.
Yeah.
The structure of this movie, I think, is just top notch.
Definitely.
My next favorite scene is, I want to say like 5 or 10 minutes after that, and it's when we get introduced to all of the mafia gangs when they're talking to Mr. Lau.
Yeah.
And the
group
Joker-
therapy session.
And yeah.
Yeah. This is my next one too.
And
Okay,
the
no.
Joker shows up.
He's like, you want to see this
His-
pencil
Dude,
disappear?
oh
His
my
entrance-
god!
Tell me that's not sick.
Oh my
his,
god!
His entrance is so good. I love him walking in and just going, ooh.
It's so crazy to me because
He's so weird.
he's
Yeah.
so weird, and it's so crazy to me that this is Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
It's insane to me because this is not who I see Heath Ledger as. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do, but I just don't. And he comes in, and Mr. Lau was talking about like your money's gonna be good. Like they're obviously talking.
Yeah.
How much money was it?
$68 million.
Insane.
And what it is, the whole reason that they're meeting is because the Gotham PD is onto the mob and where they hold their money. They keep all their money within like the same 5 banks, and they've been placing slightly irradiated bills in the banks to see where it is that they get transferred to, and they notice that they're all being transferred to these 5 specific banks. So now they're trying to SWAT the banks so that way they can seize all of the money. Lau gets all these people together to tell them, "Hey, I knew what the PD was up to. I've moved all of your money without your permission
Already.
and it's already been done because I am just as much as in trouble if I get caught as you guys. And guess what? All of your money is with me in Hong Kong. Like, I'm not going to tell you where it is. So if you want your money back, you got to keep me alive and you got to keep me in the loop as to like when I can come back."
Yeah.
And then Joker crashes the meeting.
Dude, because they realized that the Joker stole some of the money from the mobs.
Yeah.
And that's the money that he stole from the bank. And
dude,
and
I
one
love
of
the whole thing too where he's like they say something about he's like, "Yo, he's a clown in a cheap purple suit." When he comes in, he goes, "And the suit, it wasn't cheap. You ought to know. You bought it."
yeah,
Like,
I say that no joke all the time throughout my life. Every time I go, "You should know, you bought it," because that's what he sounds like.
yeah.
And I love that quote.
And basically one of the mobsters tells his like associate, he's like, hurt him. Like,
Yeah, he says,
he's
"Give me one."
pressing him.
Yeah, he says, "Give me one reason why I shouldn't have my boy here pull your head
and
off."
like, and then that's when he says, "You want to see this pencil disappear?" And then the guy is like coming up on him and just goes,
he goes, "Boom!"
that probably peaked it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Smashes it. All of a sudden, that pencil's gone.
and it's gone. It disappeared.
Yeah.
And I immediately just went, "Oh shoot, bro!
Yeah.
They're in the what? They're in for something big." And then it's crazy. It's just
Yeah. I love Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. It's captivating.
Mhm.
Like, anytime that man is on screen, I cannot look away.
They call him a freak, and he's like, "I am not a freak."
Yeah.
He's got these like weird mannerisms that he goes
Yeah.
through.
Or like he's funny too. Like
He
I
is.
laugh every time whenever he was like, "Let's wind the clocks back a year." He's like, you had the PD eaten out of the palm of your hand. You were able to do all the stuff that you guys wanted to, and like now you guys sit here in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Did your balls drop off? Like, and he said, "I know why you guys do this. I know why you're afraid to go out at night, and it's because of the Batman." And everyone is like, kind of like, "Oh crap."
He knows.
He
Yeah,
knows.
And he's like, "Now, I have a proposition for you guys, and I want you guys to kind of hear me out here, basically." And they're like, "Okay, what is it?" And he says, "Well, first off, my idea is we just simply have to kill the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Once we kill him, we can do whatever we want because there's nobody to stop us."
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the whole business side of the Joker comes out, where he says, people are saying, oh, okay, well, if it's so easy, why haven't you done it yet? And he says, if you're good at something, you never do it for free.
That's one of my best quotes right there.
Yeah. And they say, okay, well, how much do you want? And he says, I want half of your $68 million total that you have in order to kill the Batman. And everyone is like, this is ridiculous. And basically the Joker goes in to say, he's like, listen, I know that the Batman is going to find this guy Lau, and he's going to make him squeal and tell you, and he's going to say where all the money is at.
Like a squealer.
Yeah, and he says, I know the squealers when I see him. And
He's one of them.
he's one of them. And basically everybody else is like, okay, well, like, we don't know what to do. We need to think about it. And he says, look, if you don't handle this soon, pretty soon, Gamble here is not going to be able to get a nickel to his grandma.
And he gets
goes,
pissed.
enough from the cloud. And then he puts out a warrant almost for him, and he says, I want,
500,000 dead.
Yeah, a million
A
alive.
million alive. And then,
Pulls out the...
Yeah. And when everyone gets up, he pulls out the thing. He's like, jacket is lined with frag grenades. And
that's
they're all
how you know
tied.
he's insane.
Yeah, they're all tied to one pin. And he goes, let's not blow this out of proportion. And everyone is... I even love that line, too, whenever Gamble says, you think you could just steal from us and walk away? And he goes, yeah.
I died at that, too. He's got the balls, man. Yeah. He really does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
This whole scene is just great.
And that's how you know he's different from all of the crime that's going on there. He's going to be the one to make an actual change here.
And it's because he's the guy to say the things that everybody else is scared to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is just crazy enough to think of the things that everyone else is thinking but is too scared to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm just going to come out here and say it and do it. And I'm going to get your guys' respect that way. And you guys may think I'm a freak. You guys may think I'm crazy. But guess what? You see results whenever you do things my way, right?
Yeah.
It may not be the best result or what you may was according to plan. But guess what? I got what I wanted done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love it.
It's true.
My next favorite scene is the "Why So Serious" scene with Gamble.
Oh gosh, when he fakes
When he fakes he's dead.
Dude, that's actually one of my moments that I would hope you would appreciate and laugh at, because I don't know if you know who he is, but the guy who says he claims to kill him looks like Lil Yachty.
Oh yeah, with the braids,
dude. I said, bro, is that Lil Yachty that killed Joker?
I can see it. Yeah.
I had to laugh.
Did you think Joker was dead?
I did.
Yeah. And so this is gonna sound kind of embarrassing.
Did you see him on the table? You're like, no, please.
No. When I was a kid, and I was obsessed with this scene specifically. Like, I loved Joker's monologue of the whole "Why So Serious."
Did you?
Tell me you memorized it.
No, I recorded it on my phone, like an audio recording.
Really? So you could listen to it?
I set it as my ringtone.
Oh, you did? So someone would call you,
someone
be
would call me, and I would hear,
you want to know how I got these scars?
Yes, dude. Yes, bro. I swear.
That's
Did you?
not that
Hey, did you just let that ring so you could listen to it all?
Sometimes. I was in middle school.
Yeah.
I'll preface this by saying that everyone is embarrassing and cringe in middle school.
Yes.
But
definitely.
I vividly remember rewinding and recording on my TV's speakers to get it right at the right moment because I couldn't edit it on my phone. And anytime I see that scene, I'm reminded of that.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
It's good because it's the first story of how he got those scars. One of two that we get.
Yeah, and this is the one that we think the truth. And then when we get the second story, we're like, okay, he's an unreliable narrator. Right. We come to the realization that the Joker is a liar. Yeah. He's been lying, and he lies. He twists facts. We don't know exactly how he got his scars because he comes up with two different stories, and they're
both equally tragic.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. They both are really almost getting you to somewhat sympathize with the character. Yeah. Kind of going into the whole Joker 2019 movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And this entire monologue is just incredible. Like seeing Heath Ledger just command the screen here is amazing. But basically what happens is these guys see Gamble and they tell him, hey, we talked to these guys. They say that they've just killed the Joker. And they bring his body. They set it on a pool table. And he says, all right, he's dead. That's $500,000. And then the Joker stands up and he says, how about alive? He grabs him and he has this knife. And he's looking at Gamble and he says, the whole monologue, do you want to know I got these scars? And Joker's story is basically that his father was a drinker. And that one night he went off crazier than usual. And that his mom went to get a kitchen knife to defend herself. And his dad didn't like that. And he noticed that whenever... they were fighting, that he was looking at him, and Dad looked over at the Joker and said, "Why so serious?" And he put the blade in his mouth, and we get this
Put a smile on that face.
Yeah, and he said, "Let's put a smile on that face." And the tension here with like the score of just that rising action noise where it's just like just sitting there, and the Joker's like putting his blade in Gamble's mouth, sitting there, and he just goes, and then he looks at another one of the guys, and the guy's like freaked out, not knowing what's going to happen. He goes, why so serious? And then kills Gamble. And then Gamble drops off, and he goes into a little bit of a rant where he says, we just had a spot open up in my crew. We're looking to make waves here. Well, he says something like with aggressive expansion. And he said, so that means that one of you gets to join our team. He said, but there is only one spot, so we're going to have to have tryouts.
Yeah.
And he like snaps a pool cue, slams it down in front of all three of these guys, and basically says, one of you is going to live in this situation. We're going to have you guys fight it out. Whoever lives, you get to work for me. That's it. And then he walks out.
Yeah, and it's just another way of showing how savage he is and how he kind of breeds the loyalty in his followers. Because you would think, you think to yourself, why would you follow a man like that?
Yeah.
But he finds the lowest of the low in Gotham and the ones who are easily malleable.
Yeah.
And he breeds loyalty that way.
Yeah.
Which is genius.
Yeah.
Very genius.
Yeah.
That scene is iconic. I have the scene where what's the banker's name? Where he goes back to Hong Kong.
Oh,
Mr.
Lau.
Lau.
That's my next capturing him.
Yes, capturing
That's
Lau
my next
Hong
favorite
Kong?
scene.
in Hong Kong. I think
Dude,
it's sick.
this whole
Dude,
sequence
this whole
is sick.
sequence
Yes.
is insane.
That shot of him on the building, Batman on the building,
Yeah.
standing there is so dope.
It's so sick. I love this scene because it incorporates Lucius Fox, which is Morgan Freeman. I can't say how much I love him as
He's great as Lucius Fox.
Love it. I love him. And I love that he's like he's the builder. He's the tinkerer for Batman.
Yeah.
Batman will give him like these crazy ideas and say, build me that.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas that he has is like, well, how are we going to extradite this guy who's going to be in security?
Yeah.
How are we going to get him out?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, back in the war
60s,
days,
we had this thing called the Skyhook.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives him the plans for this thing to get into a plane without it landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lucius Fox goes there because they're doing a whole business negotiation where with Wayne Enterprises they're gonna invest in them or something like that. But he's going there to formally decline because we all know they already knew that Lau was dirty.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get closer looks at the numbers. So he's going there to put his phone as a distraction to turn off. It's kind of like an EMP sort of deal. And so that Batman could also go there as well. And Batman's up on that roof. He's got that gun with like a little...
Dude, that's so cool.
It's like glue with a
Yeah.
bomb on it, and he shoots a bunch right there. And I love that, like, because earlier you get the scene of like the actual, what do they call it? The cape, pretty
Yeah.
much. And you're like, well, how does that work? And you electrify it, and it gets stiff.
Yeah.
And then he jumps down, and he's finally using it, and you're
He's
like,
gliding, bro.
Yeah.
that's Batman.
Yeah.
And he glides into the building and takes all the guys out. Oh, that was sick.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the whole, he's like, has him hostage. He's wrapping something around him, throws the balloon
A
out.
deployable balloon, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the plane comes and picks him up. I was like,
yanks him out.
That's so cool.
so cool.
Yeah. When I was watching that scene, I was thinking like, that has to hurt.
Yeah.
Like
Yanked
getting
like that?
yanked out of the building like that by a plane, like that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Gotta hurt.
Yeah. But I love that whole sequence too. I love seeing like just how violent the Batman can be, and like all these guys like literally 3 of them lined up shooting at him, and he's just
Eating
running away, like
bullets, too.
missing every shot,
Mm-hmm.
and is just beating the crap out of these guys. I even love whenever he drags Lau. He's just
Mhm.
dragging him by the top of his foot, like he's just holding him. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, bro,
That's
you
disrespect.
know, like that's disrespect, but also you know how strong you got to be to carry a whole other man by the top of your shoe and just drag him through all the glass and stuff.
Yeah,
and
all the
everything?
glass. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that whole sequence is awesome
That's
too.
insane.
Yeah, I love that.
My next favorite scene is, so what I assumed was when they killed Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Mine's the fundraiser. Joker crashing the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a big bro moment, so that's
This
why I
is
didn't put it there.
the second. You
Yeah.
want to know how I got these scars story.
Yes.
That's a big bro moment because I didn't expect Joker to show up.
Yeah.
And it, of course, incorporates Rachel, who is
Yes.
both a love interest to Batman and to Harvey Dent, which we haven't really talked about, but
It's okay. I don't.
Yeah.
we'll talk more about him. He's kind of like this, like, altruistic hope of Gotham.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, you know, the next district attorney
Yes.
for Gotham, and he is seen as this beacon of hope for people.
This White Knight.
Yeah. And everyone looks to him as just the guy that's going to clean up the streets finally,
Mhm.
so that way Batman won't be needed anymore. And everyone talks about Harvey Dent as being the hero that Gotham deserves and not the one that it needs,
Mhm.
while Batman is the hero that Gotham doesn't deserve,
But they need.
but they need.
Mhm.
And Harvey Dent is he plays into this scene, but basically he and Bruce Wayne get into contact with one another through the restaurant, which such a flex.
Yeah.
That whole
he's-
restaurant scene where he was like, "Dude, it took me 3 weeks to get these
like,
reservations,
I
and
know
I
that."
had to tell them that I work for the government to like get here." And Harvey and Rachel are having dinner, and all of a sudden Bruce Wayne pulls up with a Russian ballerina, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Rachel, how you doing? Harvey, hey, nice to meet you." And, they're talking with one another, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'll flag somebody down, have them pull up a table so we can all eat
Cool,
together."
I'm not sure they'll let you do that.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, they should. I own the place." And it's just like, oh, what a flex.
Yeah.
He said it's all me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like what a flex to just be like,
I own the
they
place.
should do it. I own it.
Yeah.
Like, and they just pull it up. They have this whole conversation. And it's one of my favorite quotes in the film that happens here where Harvey
either-
Dent says, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain."
Now, is this the movie that came up with that?
I don't know. I think
Or
so.
did they borrow it from another movie? Because this, I swear to you, this quote has outlived the Batman. It's outlived the Dark Knight. Like, everybody uses it in every single medium. I swear I see this quote all the time.
I don't know.
You're
Um,
it's how is it?
I've only ever heard it in this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I see it in memes all the time.
Oh, yeah. If they're using it in like an ironic way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that whole sequence is great. Not necessarily my favorite scene, but it is a good sequence. And it sets up their establishment. And basically what Bruce Wayne says is like, "Hey, well, what we'll do is we'll set up a fundraiser for you so that way, we can help fund your next campaign." And he was like, "Oh, my campaign isn't for, another 3 years or something like that."
And
And
he's
Bruce
like-
essentially says, "No, you don't understand. One fundraiser with my friends, you'll never need another cent."
Mm-hmm.
And so Bruce decides to throw Harvey Dent a fundraiser and get all these people together so that way people can, financially back him so that way he can run for district attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone gets together in this penthouse, and of course Bruce Wayne makes his appearance.
Flexing in a
Flexing
helicopter.
in a helicopter with 3 women.
He always has women by his side. Always.
And just walks out and is just like, "Hey, I'm glad to see you guys all got started without me." And then, comes in and says, like, "Where is the man of the hour? Where's Harvey?" There he is. And he gives this little anecdote where he says, when I
Kind of
first...
roast him.
Yeah, where he says, like...
roast him a little bit.
Yeah, where he says, when I first got introduced to Harvey, I got introduced to him because of my friend Rachel over here. She's one of my oldest friends. And she'd mentioned him, and the first thing that I said was, "Oh, the guy from the awful campaign commercials. I believe in Harvey Dent." Yeah, real nice slogan, Harvey. And kind of jabs at him a little bit. And he says, but then I started to take a look back, and I took a step back and really looked at Harvey for who he was. And I see, all the work that he's doing in Gotham. I see the heart that he has, and I believe in Harvey Dent. And I think that everyone else here should believe in him as well. I think that he, is going to really clean up the streets and make Gotham a better and safer place. And everyone, applauds, goes back to what they're doing, eating, drinking, socializing, and all this stuff. And a lot of exposition happens here as well with Bruce Wayne as a character as well as Rachel. And Bruce Wayne essentially says, like, hey, Harvey is going to be the hero that Gotham deserves. So that way Batman won't be needed anymore. Mm-hmm. And if what you told me, Rachel told Bruce Wayne that once Batman, in the first movie, that once Batman was no longer needed, that you would be with me, and that Bruce and Rachel would be together finally. And that's what I'm hoping to do. If Harvey Dent can be the hero that Gotham deserves, then I won't need to be Batman anymore, and we can be together. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. And Rachel kind of like reluctantly agrees. And that's even when we get to see that Harvey takes her aside and says, like, basically, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And, he
basically is proposing.
Yeah. And she's kind of like, just like, I want to know your answer. What's your answer? And she tells him she doesn't have one right now. And meanwhile, while that's all going on, we find out that there are 3 different sets of DNA that the Joker has planted on in a couple of areas. And Commissioner Gordon predicts that those are the 3 people that the Joker is going to try to kill next. And we come to find out that it is a judge, Judge Cirillo, who did the trial for the previous scene with Harvey. And then the commissioner Commissioner Loeb, and then Harvey Dent himself. And we get to see that Judge Cirillo gets freaking blown up.
In the car.
Yeah, the car bomb. And then Commissioner Loeb gets poisoned with his whiskey.
I wanted to talk about that real quick, because when he drinks the whiskey, it shows that it smokes.
Yeah. It's just effect,
It's just to show you, like, oh, he drank poison.
Yeah,
and it's like he's for sure going to die.
Yeah.
It's not one of those, like, well, is there an antidote? Is he going to make it? No, he's dead.
Yeah, I was just wondering why I was smoking.
Maybe because, like, it tipped out and touched something organic, which was that wooden desk.
Yeah, so it started like eating away at it or something. Maybe it was acid. I don't know. Yeah. But basically, the two of the 3 people that Joker planned on killing have died already, and the audience doesn't know that the Joker is also on their way up the elevator to kill Harvey as well. Mm-hmm. And Batman or Bruce Wayne is privy to their plan. Comes over to Harvey while he's talking to Rachel. Chokes him out, puts him to sleep, and hides him so that way Joker can't get to him. And whenever he makes his entrance here, I love it because everyone just stops what they're doing and is just staring. I even love Michael Caine's face whenever he walks out, because he's just looking at him just like, what the heck am I looking at, right? Mm-hmm. The Joker like pushes the guy aside who, got him inside, and has this like shotgun and just goes boom. Yep. Walks around and says, "Good evening, everybody. We're tonight's entertainment." And the only question that I have right now is, where's Harvey Dent? And I always laughed at this scene with my brothers because he's walking around, he's like eating the little hors d'oeuvres, and like he grabs a glass, and like the way he grabs it, like half the drink flies out, and he like drinks like a quarter of it and puts it down. And he starts going up to random people and starts going, "You know where Harvey is? You know who he is?" And just like starts smacking people. And me and my brothers always laughed at that for some reason.
I mean, that's funny. He literally just taps him. Not even like a smack. It's just like, "I'm sorry, Nick," but he just goes, "You know where Harvey's at?"
Yeah.
Just barely like, sorry.
Yeah. Me and my brothers always had this like, we built up this notion, like, imagine you're at a party, someone random comes up to you and just starts going, "Hey, you know who this guy is?
Yeah,
you know who he is?" Like, and we'd just be like, "What the heck? Who is this guy?" And so we would just laugh about that. But while this is all taking place, Bruce is on his way trying to get away from the party so that way he can put on his gear to come out and fight the Joker and all these guys that are crashing the party. And
You love me.
yeah, and while he's
Of
doing
course,
that,
Rachel is like, stop.
yeah, while he's doing that, the Joker and Rachel have an interaction, and the Joker immediately picks her out and says, "You must be Harvey's girl."
Mhm.
And
Harvey's squeeze.
yeah, and he says, "And let me tell you, you are beautiful." And he comes up to her and he's like, come here," and like grabs her and does a whole "you want to know how I got these scars" monologue. And he basically tells her, like, I got these scars because my wife, she had this crazy gambling addiction and she didn't like the way that she looked and she wanted money for surgery. And so she got really into debt. We couldn't pay them back. And she got really scared and all this stuff. And so to calm her down, I would stick a razor blade in my mouth and I would like swoosh it around in my mouth to try to like cheer her up, basically. And whenever he would take it out, she couldn't stand the sight of him, and she left me. And now I see the funny side. Now whenever, I think about her, I'm always smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And Rachel like kind of fights back at him. She like kicks him in the groin area. And that's when we get the quote where the Joker says, "You got a little bit of fight in you. I like that." And then Batman comes out of nowhere and says, "Then you're going to love me." And then they start duking it out with one another and fighting. And I even love the scene too whenever they're fighting. I love Heath Ledger's like physical acting. Like when he's like crawling around on his hands and knees like a little kid.
Yeah.
Like and kicking the Batman. He like puts that little like shoe knife thing and like kicks him in the gut and like is really going at Batman for a little bit, and then at one point he goes and takes Rachel hostage.
Let her go.
Yeah, and he goes,
That's a wrong choice of words.
yeah, and he says, put the gun down or something like that. And he says, "Oh, sure, you just take off your little mask and show us all who you really are."
Mm.
And he like goes and shoots the glass behind her and acts like he's gonna throw her out the window. And then Batman says, "Let her go." And he goes, "Very poor choice of words," and then lets her go, and she starts sliding out the window. Batman runs after her to save her. They're falling like stories and stories, and they eventually like land on top of this cab, and the whole scene is just exhilarating. Like it is just on the edge of your seat, intensity and action. You just can't look away because you got to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And another iconic sequence.
Yeah. That and I put that in a moment because, like I said, I didn't expect the Joker to ever show up to Wayne's house. Because I mean, in typical hero movies, the villain never shows up at the hero's like place and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's weird because it's like he's really wanting the Batman, but he's already at the Batman's house and he just doesn't know it.
yeah,
And yeah.
I have to say too, I love the cinematography whenever they're doing the "you want to know how I got these scars" story. Like the camera is just circling around them, and it just creates this like this anxiety-inducing effect where you're just kind of like, I can't sit still for a moment. Even the camera is not letting me like catch my breath because it's just zooming around these people, and there's this score that's building up. We don't know what's going to happen to Rachel. Is he actually going to kill her? Because the last time he told a story like this, that guy died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going to potentially happen here? Like, it's a
So
really
how do you
good
think
scene.
he actually got the scars?
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you, man. There's
That's
so we don't
interpretation.
ever get his quote unquote origin story,
Yeah.
so we don't know. Could be from his mom.
Yeah.
Could be from himself. We don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
My next scene I wanted to talk about was just the whole like car chase scene when the
when they're
diesels.
moving Harvey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that whole sequence is
Transported, yeah.
I love
Harvey.
it.
Context to this is every day.
Can I hit the one before that?
Sure.
When I thought they killed Commissioner Gordon.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. I skipped over. This is a bro moment for me, but
Yeah.
yes, I
Yes.
do. It's
So I
crazy.
thought, obviously, so they're having like a press conference.
no. They're having like a memorial for Commissioner Loeb because he died.
Okay, so they're having the memorial for him, and this was just like thousands of cops, like for them. I mean, for him, and Commissioner Gordon's on top, the mayor's on top, and Harvey Dent is up top, like on stage, just there, and there's snipers, and so basically they're trying to find. I think the Joker said that he was gonna kill one of them.
He was going to kill the mayor.
He was gonna kill the mayor.
Yeah, they found another
the obituary.
Yeah, there was a crime scene where he made a fake obituary that said that the mayor was going to be dead at 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and obviously the next major event to involve the mayor would be that. And so basically they are like cross-matching these people that they found at that crime scene and just getting addresses, and they find an address near where the event's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And there's cops who have gotten attacked and are blindfolded. And this is so smart. The timer and the
window shade.
window shade going up is timed so perfectly. So basically they're releasing their shots out of respect for the
dead.
I think they're doing the
dead.
21
Yeah.
gun salute or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at this certain time, the timer clicks for a sniper from the police to see where the shade goes up.
Yeah.
And boom. And then, like, a police sniper shoots. And then what we didn't know is the Joker was impersonating a cop in the line.
Yeah.
And then turns and tries to shoot the mayor.
Yeah.
And it's insane. Because, one, they shoot the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And it's a big bro moment.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too. You see the Joker without his makeup,
Dude.
and you see all of his scarring and everything
Mhm.
like that.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's
And-
weird.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then-
and then we come to find out, Jim Gordon tried to save the mayor, and we think he ends up dying
Yeah.
because he tried to save the mayor.
Yeah, and this is also when, because we get the idea that the cops are also kind of like real dirty as well.
Yeah.
And we get the idea that, Harvey gets taken by someone and so does Rachel,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're both gone. That whole thing. I was going into talking about, the Batman or the Joker saying that, he's gonna kill people the more that, or the more days until Batman finally reveals himself.
Yeah.
And Bruce is finally like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it at the press conference that he's holding.
Yeah.
Once he tells him to come up there, I'll finally reveal myself.
Real quick, can I ask you guys what you thought about this scene whenever Harvey interrogates that guy at gunpoint?
Oh.
It just makes him as dirty as any other person
Right.
at that point. Because
Right.
he's just,
You're starting to see the little turn.
Yeah, and you start to see that Harvey is like,
he's dirty.
he's not the white knight that everyone thinks he is. And Batman sees that and says, if anyone else were to see this, everything that you did would be undone.
Yep.
Everyone that, looks up to you would have a reason to not like you anymore because of what you are doing right now.
Yeah.
And he tells him, you're going to hold the press conference and the Batman is going to come. I'm going to unmask myself and reveal who I am. They're going to put me away, do whatever it is that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to continue to clean up the city because you are the hero that I could never be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that goes
no.
into basically them holding a press conference. Harvey comes up and says, like, okay, take the Batman into custody. And then he says, I am the Batman. And they put him in custody and they start transporting him to county, I believe is what they're
Yeah,
trying
they
to do.
said county.
Yeah. But yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so they're transporting him. The Joker obviously is aware of this, so he's trying to get him. And, they're going, there's a diesel following them and pulls out a bazooka. They're about to get shot. And then, of course, the Batmobile comes up and takes the bullet. And
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool. And that goes into the whole scene of the whole Bat motorcycle.
Yeah.
Coming
the
out.
Bat cycle.
The Bat cycle. That was sick.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah.
that.
I love this whole sequence too. It's exhilarating. Like first off, whenever the scene starts, we find out Harvey has the two-sided coin.
About fate.
Yeah, and he has, the whole line where he says, I make my own luck. And he flips the coin and gives it to Rachel, and we find out that the coin he's been using the entire time has been two-sided. So anytime he ever, says, oh, let's flip a coin, heads, I go for it. Or, heads, I say yes, or something like that. It's always going to be heads. So, he always has this like, oh, yeah, I make my own luck type thing. But it's because, I do what I want to do, right? I love the whole lead up to the bazooka, the RPG thing, like the truck rolling up and it obviously being like a carnival ride, like big rig where it's supposed to say laughter
Dude,
is
and
for
it
you.
says slaughter.
Yeah, and then someone spray paints a big old S on it, so it says slaughter is the best medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Joker and all of his goons come out, and they're just trying to shoot the thing up at first. And he's like shooting his little machine pistol at it, and they're going with shotguns, and then all of a sudden they pull out the freaking RPG, and that's when the Batmobile comes in, saves it, takes a big old hit. Batcycle comes around, and they have this whole, cat and mouse chase where they're trying to stop the Joker from getting to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love whenever they meet up with one another and they're going head to head with the big rig and the Batcycle. They're going at one another. And the entire time they're doing it, it like will cut to shots of the Joker being like, "Oh, come on, you want to play? Let's do it. Come on, I'm ready. And, Batman goes under and around the truck, and what he doesn't know is that he shot these like wires at the grill of the truck, and it goes around and under and all these light poles and stuff and everything. And that causes the truck to just flip. And I love the way that we see it flip because it like all the music stops and you just hear just this hurling thing come down to the ground and just it crash.
It's insane. I'm looking at a still right now that's on film grab, and literally the truck looks.
It's vertical.
It's vertical, bro.
And
like,
that's one of the things too that I love about Christopher Nolan is he's such a big proponent of using physical effects and making sure that everything is done real to make it look as real as possible.
That'd be insane.
So
to
like
see.
they for real flipped this big rig and like filmed that and put it in the movie. It's crazy. And then the Batcycle goes up the wall and does that little sick little like turn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we get the iconic, come on, I want you to do it. Hit me, type thing. And
Can't break the rule.
Yeah. And like we see, like, I love that we get to see a shot of Batman's face.
He
Like,
wants to.
He wants to do it. Like he's looking at him and he just goes, "Ah!"
So much anger.
Yeah, just screaming at him, but doesn't do it and slides off of his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Joker kind of looks at him and starts walking over to him. And as he's doing it, well, first I want to mention too, whenever the Joker is getting out of the crashed truck, I kind of love his like carelessness. Like when he gets out and he's like stumbling over himself and he's like shooting the gun as he's doing it, and he's like falling over and it's just going. And he's walking up and like the cars are driving at him. He just starts going, and it's just shooting at all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I love that whole aspect.
He's careless.
Of his
He
character,
literally,
too.
they're literally the opposites. It's kill everyone versus kill no one.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love too is whenever Batman is lying on the ground, one of his henchmen go up and like try to like touch his mask to get him off and it like shocks him. And I love the Joker goes over there and like laughs at him and he goes and like starts stomping on his friend.
Yeah.
And then right as he's about to like pull his knife out and possibly kill Batman, all of a sudden he hears and someone put a gun to the back of his head and he just goes, "Can you just let me have 5 minutes?" And then you turn around and all of a sudden it's Jim Gordon. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Commissioner
There's
Gordon.
no way he was alive because it looked like he was dead, like legit.
Yeah.
I was shook.
Yeah. And that leads to them capturing the Joker and getting Harvey out of there because now everyone realizes, okay, Harvey wasn't actually Batman. The Batman's gone now, but, we got Harvey in a safe place. Let's get the Joker locked up and move him, somewhere. That leads into
The ferry.
the interrogation scene.
Oh, the interrogation scene is crazy.
I like this one.
This is like my favorite scene of the movie, I think.
Really?
Like I think best scene in the movie. For me. Like I will come back to YouTube and watch this scene just by itself for
Really?
no reason. It's incredible. But basically what happens is they get Joker into an interrogation room and Jim Gordon is trying to ask him questions and he basically says like if we're gonna play these games and all this stuff like that, I'm gonna need a cup of coffee. And the Joker says, "Oh, the good cop, bad cop routine." And Joker says, or Jim says something like that. And he kind of like walks out, and then all of a sudden, lights get turned on. You see Batman standing right behind him, and just goes, "Boom!" and like slams his head into the desk. And,
What does he say?
Don't go for the head first.
he
Something
says,
like
"You
that.
never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy afterwards. They can never really feel the next thing." And he goes like, boom, like smack, like punches his hand super hard, and he just goes, see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they sit down, and they start having this conversation with one another. And I had written down, it's kind of scary that the Joker is speaking some facts.
He is, yeah.
Like,
he said, don't talk like them. You're not like them.
Yeah, and I love that we get to just see these guys go at it and how intense the entire scene is. And I think legitimately this is the scene that won Heath Ledger the Oscar. But the Joker is essentially talking to Batman as like, I got you where I want you right now, and I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to see what you would do in these situations. And I guess what? You didn't disappoint, but you did let 5 people die. And, he says, Batman says like, we're not alike, we're not similar or something like that. And then he says, why do you want to kill me? And the Joker says,
I don't
he
wanna
laughs
kill
and he
you.
says, I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Would I go back to ripping off mob dealers and doing all this other stuff? No, I don't want to do any of that. You complete me. Like we, can do so much with one another. And the only reason that I'm doing any of this is because I want to get to you, and I want to break you down just as much as you want to break me down. And he starts going into this monologue about how, the only reason that Gotham PD is allowing you to help or do anything like that is because they think you're a freak, just like me. And these people, these civilized people, they're going to eat each other at one point or another when the chips are down. And whenever, it comes to looking at people like you and me, whenever they're done with you, they're going to cast you out like a leper, and they're going to be done with you once they're done with you and not have a single thing to do with you after that. And the entire time I was watching that, I was just like, he's not wrong though. Like, like the Joker's really got some stuff figured out. Like he knows how people think, and he knows what people are gonna do. And that's when it leads to him saying, he's like, so you see, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. And that like ticks Batman off, and he like pulls him across the table, and he says,
Where's Harvey?
yeah, he says like, where are they? Where's Harvey? Where are they? And he says like,
You're gonna have to break your rule.
yeah, and he says if you want to save, he says you're gonna have to break your rule if you want to save one of them. And he says, what do you mean them? And then that's when Joker says, for a second there, I really did think you were Harvey. The way that you threw yourself after her. And that's when he realizes that, he also has Rachel. So now Harvey is in danger, and his girl Rachel are in danger. And so now he's getting pissed, and he starts punching him. He's just going, where are they? Where are they? And I'd found out actually, Heath actually told Christian Bale to really hit him.
Oh, shoot.
In these scenes. So like, Christian Bale is like actually punching Heath in the face.
That's insane, dude.
Like as it's being filmed. And I love just Heath in this whole scene. Like the entire time he's just saying, killing is making a choice. And he goes, boom. He says, you have to choose between one life or the other. Harvey Dent, Gotham's White Knight, or his blushing bride-to-be. And he starts laughing, and then he just goes, boom, punches him again. And like that last punch makes him let out this like blood-curdling laugh where he's just psychotic. Like he's just laughing. And he looks at him, he says, you have nothing. You have nothing to threaten me with all of your strength and all of that stuff.
You have no power
Yeah,
here.
you have no power over me whatsoever.
Nothing to do with all of your shit.
And when he grabs him, finally, he says, I'm going to tell you where they are. And he tells him that Rachel is at 250 52nd Street, and that Harvey is on Avenue X at Cicero.
Switched.
And so he doesn't know that, but the Joker has told.
No, like they're switched. He says he's at 2252nd 22nd Street,
Oh, okay, I see.
and she's on Avenue X.
Okay, So the Joker tells him that they're at opposite locations, and he tells Batman that Rachel is at a specific location and that Harvey is at another one. He leaves the room, and Gordon goes up to him and says, "Who are you going after?" And he says, "Rachel." So he's obviously going to be going to the location that he told that the Joker said Rachel was going to be at.
Avenue X.
Yeah. Do any of you guys have anything after that?
After that is the ferry scene, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the ferry scene is a big bro moment for me, so I didn't put it in a favorite moment.
Okay. Well, that after that whole scene, we get a whole like chase sequence where the police are trying to go to get Harvey, or who they think is going to be Harvey, and then Batman is going to go get Rachel. They find out, Rachel and Harvey are in these rooms rigged with oil
They can
drums.
talk to each other.
Yeah, and they're like on a phone call with one another that's like 5 minutes long before these things blow up. And we even get the reveal that Rachel is like wants to marry Harvey. She wants to spend the rest of her life with him.
She thinks she's gonna be saved.
Yeah, she thinks she's the one that's going to be safe. Even Harvey is like, they're going to save you.
They're coming to
Doesn't
get
matter.
you. They're coming to get you.
And we look at, we get the reveal that Harvey is trying to, cut himself out of a situation.
He falls
falls over. One of the drums falls over, and he gets his face all covered in the gasoline.
Half of his face.
Oh, it's
Yeah, and then whenever we cut back to him, we all of a sudden see Batman come in. He comes to Harvey's building instead of... Yeah, and Harvey starts getting pissed off and says, like, "No, why are you coming for me? Like, you shouldn't
And
be
you can
coming
hear it
for
on
me."
the phone, and she's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
And she's like, okay, it'll be okay.
yeah,
Like, she realizes that she's going to be the one to die.
yeah,
And
That's-
sucks.
which was another big bro moment for me.
yeah.
Well, I didn't know she dies,
Huge.
and that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that's the whole building exploding and him getting his face covered in gasoline leads to him becoming Two-Face at the
Yep.
end, because now he has these like horrid scarring and all this stuff, and it eventually breaks his character too, because now like the love of his life is now dead
Mhm.
because of Joker and all these things that happened, and
True.
it just like
Well, it's because of Joker, but it's also because of the corrupt police force.
yeah,
It's somewhat because of Jim Gordon,
yeah,
because he kind of allowed those people to be in positions that they were in.
yeah,
So he's just pissed at the world, honestly, and Joker
Yeah.
gives him a way to release that anger
yeah,
through chaos and
Yeah.
through stirring up the pot a little bit,
yeah,
just like how he's been doing.
mm-hmm.
And it's really compelling, that scene where he goes in there. He threatens to bomb the hospital, and everyone starts to go crazy, and yet he still manages to get in there and get alone with Harvey Dent and say all of his piece there.
Yeah,
Pretty good. That leads to finally the ferry scene.
yeah. Why don't you take this one, Abe?
I don't know. This one stresses the heck out of me.
Yeah, it's great. This is like the last act of the film. This is
Yeah.
the Joker's last thing that he does.
So basically, why are they escaping again? Why are they? I totally forget about it. Why are they on the ferry?
So the Joker has told everybody that he basically he does the whole hospital blow up thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that he takes a news anchor hostage and sends in like a home video and says, basically, I'm gonna allow like all of the prisoners on this island to be set free into the town, and we're all gonna have some fun and all this stuff. And if you don't want to play the game, then you better get out now. But the people who try to escape by the bridges and by the boats are gonna be in for a big surprise.
Yeah,
So everyone in Gotham is trying to escape now because they don't want to be
with the prisoners.
with the prisoners and with everyone that's going to be let out into the city potentially to harm them.
Yeah, which is kind of scary. If you think about.
So now they're all trapped with nowhere to go, and then a bunch of civilians who did happen to get on the ferry, are all in one boat. And then Jim Gordon says that he wants all of the convicted prisoners that Harvey Dent just locked up with the whole mob racketeering thing to be put on one boat, so that way they can't get away, because it took a lot for them to even get put in jail in the first place.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be one ferry full of prisoners and then one full of civilians.
Yep. So this is where your morals start to come into action.
Yeah.
Essentially, Joker says, "Hey, you got until midnight, I believe it was,
Yeah.
or to decide who survives."
Well,
They're-
yeah, they have there's a whole reveal where they come to find out that each ferry is loaded with
Yes.
tons of explosives.
under the deck or something like that.
Yeah, and there's a detonator.
Then there's a detonator in each boat, and they're told the detonator is for the other's boat.
Yeah,
So the prisoner has the civilian's detonator, and the civilian has the prisoner's detonator.
yeah,
At least that's what we believe.
yeah,
And basically they're like, you have until 12, or you both die.
yeah.
And what would you do in this situation?
I don't know. It's so
It
hard.
stresses me
It's
out.
hard.
It's a hard situation, right? And we see like the stress that these people
Dude.
get put under because like immediately they want to save themselves and they're like, you know, hey, they had their chance, you know, all this stuff, and then you see the prisoners getting pissed because they're like, I'm trying to make have a better life for myself. Like I shouldn't die because I made one bad decision, you
Yeah.
know, or something like that. And like it just goes into this just moral dilemma that these people get put in, and now they're fearing for their lives. They don't know like if they're going to blow them up before them. Should I try to do it before they do it to me? Like who knows, you know, and it's just this incredible intensity.
It's super intense. And then one of my favorite parts of the scene is one of the prisoners gets up, and I forget what's his name.
He's in the Friday movie.
He's in the Friday movie. It's Devo, bro.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he goes, "Give me this. Like, you don't have the guts to get your hands dirty, and you don't know what it feels like to kill a person. Let me take care of it." And I actually thought he was gonna do it,
Mhm.
and then we get to see he gets it handed over to him and just throws it.
Yeah,
Throws
throws it
it
out the
out.
window into the ocean.
And
That's what
everybody
you should have
just-
done 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody just like, it's almost like a sigh of relief, but also a sigh of fear, and be like, well,
Yeah,
you
'cause-
still don't know what the other boat's gonna do.
Yeah. Well, and if they don't, they're both gonna.
They're both gonna die.
Both boats are getting blown up.
Yeah.
And yeah, you basically get that, and then it leads to where it shows to where the Joker is now,
Mhm.
and it's in a abandoned hospital. I think that's what it was.
It's just like an unfinished building
Unfinished
Yeah.
somewhere.
And they find it because of this like technology that Batman used, like almost like
In
a
Hong
submarine
Kong.
in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the sonar.
The sonar, to basically to every phone in Gotham.
Yeah.
One that's kind of
Yeah. Well, and that's
Crazy.
even like I love the character development with Lucius too, because now he even gets put in a moral dilemma where he has the power to spy on literally every person in Gotham. And I like that he even presses
He said-
Batman and says like, this is too much power for one person. Like I can't be at this, I can't work at Wayne Enterprises as long as this machine is here.
Mhm.
And if I do this for you, you have to consider this my resignation.
Mhm.
Like this is the one time and only time that I will help you here. After that, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
I can't do this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can take him.
Yeah, and basically, the whole sonar thing that Lucius is feeding to Batman is he's being told that there's Joker and a ton of his henchmen are all in this building, and Nick kind of hit on this a little bit, but there are hostages that are in the building. So there are people who we believe that are Joker's henchmen there, as well as the Joker himself, and then hostages. But then we find out that the hostages are actually the Joker's henchmen, and the people that are dressed as Joker's henchmen are actually hostages. And then we also got a SWAT team that's about to go up there to try to save all of the hostages. So Batman is in there fighting the SWAT team, and then also taking out the Joker's henchmen and trying to save the hostages as well.
Mhm.
And while he's doing all of that, he's also having to make his way up to the top of the building to eventually fight Joker all before 12 o'clock, whenever he will blow up both of the ferries at the same time.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's all fronts he's fighting.
Yeah.
Even Lucius is in his ear saying like the SWAT team is on the second floor in the elevator and they're about to get ambushed by the people, and he's like, well, I'm fighting these guys now. I gotta go up there and I gotta like tangle them all up in the grappling hook and then throw one down, and you've got a dangling, like 5 guys are dangling from the thing, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. But he finally gets all the way to the top and he fights the Joker.
Yeah.
And I love this scene because like right as he's about to do the little he's got his own remote detonator, and he's like, you got to do everything myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a clock nearby, and
Yeah.
he notices that they're not going to do it. That the people of Gotham have overcome and have shown Joker that there can be better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There can be, that people aren't always as like bad as he says they are.
Yeah.
And the people have got like they finally overcome and are able to. Nobody dies.
Yeah.
Which was very rewarding.
Yeah. I even love to walk it back just a little bit, the tension of the civilian boat and that guy who, is very adamant about blowing up the prisoner boat. When they go to take a vote on the prisoner boat, everyone like the yeses have it, but nobody wants to do it because they don't want the type of blood on their hands, right?
Yeah.
And so this one guy who has been adamant about doing it the entire time gets up and says, "All right, I'll do it.
I'll do it."
Like no one else wants to do it. No one wants to get their hands dirty. I'll do it. Those guys
He
made their
needs going.
choices. Yeah, and like I
He's
love
shaking.
just the shot of him like actually like contemplating doing it,
Mhm.
and just that shot of him just looking so stressed as to what it is that he's about to do, and then eventually him putting it back and going and sitting down is crazy.
Accepting his fate.
Yeah. And then I also love too whenever the Joker and Batman actually start fighting. Like the Joker goes kind of crazy on Batman a little bit. He's got like that pipe and he's just like hitting him, he's going just crazy on him for a few seconds. And then I love too whenever whenever Batman throws him over the building and then gets the grappling hook
and
on
saves
him and saves him and pulls him back up.
Yeah.
And he says, "You just couldn't let me go, could you?" And he says, he has like another little monologue type thing. But he basically says like,
we're going to be doing this forever.
Yeah, he basically says, "We're going to be doing this forever. I can't, do this without you. You can't do this without me," type thing. And he just says like, "These people just showed you that they're ready to believe in something that's good, and that they don't need, any more people like you." And Joker says, "That's up until you break their spirits. Once you break their spirits, like then they have nothing left to do, and they have nothing left but to go against the grain and all this stuff." And Batman kind of looks at him and just kind of says like, What are you talking about?" And he says, "I took Gotham's White Knight and I brought him down to our level. It wasn't hard." And then he says, madness is, as you know, a little bit like gravity. All it takes is a little push." And that's when we get cut over to Harvey, and he is just fully broken down, ready to enact revenge on the people who he thinks aided in getting Rachel killed. And even that whole scene is just crazy too in and of itself.
Yeah. He ends up taking Commissioner Gordon's kids.
Wife and kids hostage.
Yeah. That.
Going to kill Gordon's kid in front of him.
Jeez, that scene is like, tell him lies. Tell him it's going to be okay.
Yeah, he says lie to him. Tell him he's going to be okay. Lie. And he says lie like I lied. Yeah, it's just horrible. And it's so sad to see a guy like Harvey, who was so revered by so many people and so like it was such a beacon of hope, get crushed and broken down by the Joker. And I love the whole little speech that Batman gives where he says like, the Joker doesn't care about you or anything like that. He just wanted to prove that somebody that's as good as you could fall. And he has proven his point now. Like, you do not need to do this. And he says, if anything, you don't need to like take it out on any of, Gordon's family or anything like that. You need to take it out on the people who you think hurt you. And he says, okay, you. And
obviously
he
flips his coin.
And he says, we're going to flip the coin, starting with you. And it lands on the bad side of the coin. Batman gets shot. And then he says, all right, now it's my turn. And he puts the gun to his head, flips the coin. It lands on the good side. He's good to go. He flips the coin, and right as it's about to land, Batman like tackles him off the building, and Harvey falls to his death. And then, but he still has Gordon's kid in his hand. He like helps him up. Batman falls down too, and that's when we find out that Harvey is dead. And that now, because Gotham's hero that they deserved is now dead, Batman cannot go away because there is not another person like Harvey to take up the reins. Like,
like Batman.
Yeah, Batman is still needed, but now he's not. There's no hero that Gotham deserves. It's just one that they need now. And we even find out that Batman is like,
Chase me.
no one. Yeah, Batman says like no one can know what Harvey did. No one can know that he killed 5 people in order to get here to this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to blame all of his murders on me, and tell everybody that the Batman killed all of those people, and that Harvey is a hero.
Yeah.
Because we can't let the Joker win this one.
Yep.
If people find out that Harvey was broken, then there's we can't let the Joker win. Like that's the one thing that he wants.
Put it on me.
Yeah, so put it all on me. Chase me. Let me be the bad guy. And I love just that whole closing where, he's running away and Gordon's kid comes up to him and says like, "Why is he running? He didn't do anything wrong. He saved everybody." And he says, he'll run because he has to, and because he's a watchful protector, a silent guardian, a dark knight.
Yeah.
And then it like closes. Yeah, I love it. And then the whole scene, cuts to black, and then credits roll, and it's great. I love it.
It's one of the best endings ever.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it
Mm-hmm.
for The Dark
The
Knight.
Dark Knight.
We got any best quotes here?
I have 2. One of them was, if you're good at something, you never do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then one from Harvey Dent, which is kind of crazy. I heard it in the movie, and then I started watching a Rhett and Link video, and then I heard him say it there. And it says, "The night is the darkest just before dawn, and I promise you dawn is coming."
Mm.
And it was crazy because I was watching the video, and then Rhett said, the night is darkest just before the dawn. And I said, "No way, I just heard it." And I literally
Yeah.
watched it right after. So it was just that.
One of my favorite quotes. I don't have the whole thing, but it's when Michael Caine starts talking about there's a guy in Burma, how
Yeah.
he was just throwing the rubies away or whatever.
Yeah.
And at the very end of it, he's like, some guys you can't just understand. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
And
I like to, even in that conversation a little bit before, Bruce Wayne is trying to understand why they even like looked at the Joker or even hired a guy like that. And Alfred says, well, in their desperation, they turned to a man that they didn't fully understand.
that makes
And
sense.
I just love that quote. I also love some people just want to watch the world burn.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple. Let's see here. The last little piece of dialogue that the Joker has, he says, "This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object."
Mm-hmm.
And then says, "Madness, as you know, is a lot like gravity. All it takes is a little push."
A little push. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the last one from the Joker is that scene whenever we get to, like the homemade movie, and he does the whole "look at me, look at me,"
Oh yeah.
the Batman impersonator,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically tells people every day that Batman doesn't turn himself in, people are gonna die,
True.
starting tonight. And then he says, "I'm a man of my word," and then like the video cuts off.
Yes.
I love that whole thing.
What about the scene where that one guy is like, I finally figured out who the Batman is, or your Lucius Fox has been building all this stuff for Batman,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he tells him all this stuff. He's like, I want $10 million for the rest of my life.
For
Yeah.
every year, I was like,
Come on, make a more reasonable request first.
Yeah.
Second, Lucius Fox straight up
Gaslights him.
he like kind of gets up, puts his glasses on, and he goes, "Let me get this straight. You think that your client, one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in the world, is secretly a vigilante who spends his nights beating criminals to a pulp with his bare hands, and your plan is to blackmail this person?" He's like, if he's willing to do that to criminals, what is he that he's gonna be willing to do that to you? And the guy's
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
when you, and he's
Yeah.
like stumbling over his words because he's like, yeah, you're right. And
Yeah.
he's like, you go ahead and keep those. And he,
Yeah.
he leaves.
Or I think Lucius says like, "Good luck,"
Good luck.
and then he goes, "You could keep that."
Yeah, keep that.
Yeah.
I died
Yeah.
laughing at that one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's about it for best quotes for me.
Me too.
All right, let's move into some bro moments.
yeah, I got a couple. And I like I said, I've never really seen this movie fully. So some of them we've already talked about, but I do want to talk about them still. Harvey saying he could be Batman. When I first I was like, bro, you gotta be dumb in the head.
Oh, when he
Like-
says like, "Well, what if Harvey Dent is the Cape
Yeah.
Crusader?"
And he was going, and Harvey was like going along with it. I was
Yeah.
just like, bro, Harvey, no, you can never be.
You're
no.
not that guy, pal.
No, you're not
You're
that
not
guy.
that guy.
Really, he isn't that guy.
Oh man.
What about the body jump scare?
Body jump scare.
on the window?
Yeah.
Boom, and it's
The hanging
Oh, I
body.
didn't jump, but I was like, oh crap, like it's crazy.
I remember watching it the first time and I jumped hard at that scene, but
Mm.
that whole scene is a bro moment.
Lil Yachty being in this movie was
I
crazy.
hate you. Can we talk about the Batmobile?
Yeah,
I don't
Isn't
like
that
it.
insane? It's kind of over the top.
it's
It's
a
tacky.
war machine.
It's a
It's
freaking.
tacky.
You think so? You don't like it?
I don't like it,
Mm.
dude. It's tacky.
I'm still undecided on how I feel about it.
yeah,
I like it because it's got some real utility to it too, and it's got like some kind of lore, like they used it in the military.
Yeah.
It had the jumper thing, like
yeah.
that's when we get that scene where it jumps
Mhm.
to block the bullet and all that. So it's got like some kind of, ulterior use other than it being a Batmobile. He just repurposed it for
Yeah.
that purpose, but it really is like a freaking tank, dude.
Yeah.
But I think it's what sets it apart from the rest because the other ones are like, these real long, slender.
Yeah.
You've got the wings on the back, and they're real cartoony, and yet
Yeah.
this one is like, it's like utilitarian.
Yeah, it looks like part of a mech suit.
Seriously, and it's got all the equipment to boot too.
Some of these that, oh my gosh,
Yeah, they're wild.
these are bad.
They're wild.
They're all bad. Look
But-
at this.
It's really, yeah. See, that's ridiculous. 1941. It's got like it's got the bats
Yeah.
on the back.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they're made to be cartoony
Right.
and comic booky and stuff like that. And then when everything's got way more serious,
I mean, and look at that.
there's a
But
nice change of pace.
the way that they showed it with Matt Reeves,
Yeah,
and the
it's
newest
so much.
Batman,
It's so much better.
I like it.
I love the
man.
new one. I
Yeah.
think the new one is the best one.
It's kind of hard
Yeah.
to beat that design.
Yeah, and
I
I
don't-
also like that. Well, in the Batman, this is Batman a couple years in, so this guy is like pissed. Still, he's got a vendetta.
Yeah.
And like he wants to know who it is that killed his parents, and he's just letting anyone and everyone have it. And the one reason why I like his Batmobile is that it feels real. It feels like this is a car that he legitimately had and was just like, I'm gonna fit it with a jet engine.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
I'm gonna trick it out to like do all this stuff that I
But
can
it's-
to it. And
but
like
it's not this though. Like you can't knock on.
That is sick.
It is
That
sick.
Tell me that's not
Oh,
sick.
we're
Like,
looking at the Batman's
Yeah,
Batmobile
yeah.
from 2022, and it's insane. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
tell me that I would poop myself if I saw that coming at me.
It fits the whole thing because he's not. I mean, it's called the Batman, but he's not really the Batman
Yeah.
until the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Batman who instills hope.
Yeah.
He's really he is vengeance who
Yeah.
he was using fear
Yeah.
to really control the people there.
That's
And
a-
that's what that instills.
Yeah.
Fear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be scared.
So I
I
might
mean,
have
think
to
of that whole scene whenever he jumps out the fire and Colin Farrell's like, "I got you," and then he goes, and he's just like, "Oh crap!" like,
that scene is sick.
That was a
Yeah.
good, honestly, yeah. It's just, dude, this Batmobile just looks so big and bulky, and I do like the gadgets that it has inside. I think I will say that it's cool. I think the best part of this Batmobile was it turning into the motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I think
sweet.
that's the biggest thing that's the
It's got the
selling point.
friggin' thickest wheels ever.
Dude, it
too.
has,
dude, when the
So-
wheels turn as like he's
It's
going,
weird,
and it goes,
huh? Yep.
that's
stops.
gotta feel like.
yeah,
It was sick.
yeah. What about a bro moment whenever we see Gordon get made commissioner on the spot?
Yeah. He said, "You can't even tell me no, bro. You're the commissioner."
Yeah, he says, "Tomorrow you start the big job.
Mhm.
Let's give it up for Commissioner Gordon." And then the Joker's all,
In the corner. Yeah. In the prison.
which I
cell.
found out was improvised.
Oh shoot!
It
What-
seems to fit. Though.
What about
Yeah,
dropping Salvatore
Maroney?
Maroney?
yeah.
He's
Dude,
like-
he
he's
drops
like,
on
You're
his
bad
legs?
because I wouldn't die from a fall like that. And he's like, "I'm betting on it."
Yeah,
Dude, it
dude,
just
you hear the bones go
break
Oh,
his ankles.
break. Yeah,
Ah, dude, straight up kills him.
Yeah.
Kills his legs.
Rachel dying was a big one.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, oh my gosh, this one kind of hurt me was the note that Rachel left for Bruce,
Oof.
and then Bruce telling Alfred that she was gonna wait for him
yeah,
And then he takes the note
and
back.
takes
and
the
he's
note
like,
takes it back and burns it.
and says, "I'll wait for another time."
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. What about Joker's last phone call
Oh yeah.
with the dude with the freaking phone sewed into his belly?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
What about whenever the Joker is like intimidating and antagonizing that guy in the interrogation?
Oh
thing?
yeah.
And he goes,
He's like, you want to know which one was a coward?
"Oh, dude."
And the
I
guy's
could
like,
just
"I'ma
couldn't
make
imagine.
this quick.
Yeah, I couldn't just imagine the rage that would be in that guy. He's like, "How many of your friends have I killed?" And he goes, "You killed 6 of my friends." And he just goes,
Like he's kind of like,
"Ooh, I killed that many. Oh, sorry."
yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes, "I don't like guns. They're too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions you can with a knife." And in people's last moments, they show you who they really are.
He's like, so I kind of knew your friends more than you
But
did.
he's like, "I knew your friends better than you ever did.
oh.
Do you want to know which one of them were cowards?"
And of course, the guy's
He's like,
all right,
"All right, dude. You're
I'm
getting
killing
it."
this guy.
Yeah.
Of course, it was all a ruse.
Yeah.
What about Joker burning all the money?
Dude,
Yeah,
dude.
I was going to bring
Oh
that
my
up.
gosh! Oh, my Siri just went off.
I love that whole sequence.
Does he kill Mr. Lau?
He has to. I mean, he sets him on
He's
fire. He sets the whole thing on
sitting
fire.
on
He's
top
sitting
of
on
all that
top.
money.
He's dead.
He's
Yeah.
dead. Okay, because that's what I was like. He's got to be dead.
How much
Yeah.
was that? That was 30
That
million.
was all of it. That
no,
was
he
all.
said that was half of it.
He said it was my half.
Oh,
So that
Didn't
was
he?
34 million, 32 million.
I thought it was. I was under the assumption that it was
I could've
all of
sworn
the
he said
money.
It was all of it. Half of it.
No, well, he says I'm only burning my half, but I was under the assumption that it's all of the money, and he says, "Oh, I'm only going to burn my half," knowing all of it's going to get burnt up.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't know. I had figured, like, I was like, dang, if this is
'Cause-
only 30, where's the rest?
because he goes on to say like, all you guys do is care about money. I'm a guy of simple taste. I like dynamite and knives and gunpowder.
I know.
and
I'm
gasoline.
scrolling through the quotes
I'm
here because
trying
they
to
have it.
quote, see if they have
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah, and he says like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Don't worry, I'm only burning my half."
Or he's saying, like, all you care about is money. Gotham deserves a better villain than that or something.
Yeah,
like
he says a better class of criminal.
Yes.
And he says, "Tell all of your men that they work for me now, and we'll see how loyal a hungry dog really is."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oof.
I don't
Yeah, I can't
see
find it.
anywhere, bro.
So many. And then I put the Joker as the nurse because he
Yeah.
looked freaking
Oh,
unhinged.
we need
Yeah.
to talk about the freaking hospital scene.
Yeah.
How insane is it to blow up a hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Oh my gosh! I also thought Harvey Dent died in that scene
Okay.
because I hadn't seen it, so
Yeah.
I was just like, shoot.
I
no
love
way.
that whole scene too. Whenever we were laughing at it a little bit, but whenever it reveals that Joker's the nurse, and Harvey doesn't know until he takes off his like little face mask.
He's like,
Yeah.
stupid.
But that whole like monologue that he has with Harvey, where he says like, nobody ever freaks out when everything's according to plan. If I tell people that a gangbanger is gonna get shot, nobody
no one
cares.
freaks out.
But when I say that one mayor is gonna die, everybody loses their minds. And
not
he
part of
says
the plan.
yeah, and he says what you need to do is introduce a little anarchy. And he says if you do that, then everything will become chaos. And I'm an agent of chaos.
Mhm.
And he says, and you want to know the great thing about chaos is it's fair. Like there's nothing you can say that doesn't make it fair if there's chaos in the bunch. And I love that whenever he he's putting the gun to his head with Harvey's hands, and you can see that the Joker's holding the hammer back the entire time that he has his gun.
Oh,
the
so he
gun
can't
pointed
even
to his head.
shoot?
So Harvey wouldn't even be able to kill him if he really wanted to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so even then, like when he's giving Harvey the illusion that he has all the power in his hands,
He doesn't.
he still doesn't.
Oh, wow.
And Harvey even goes through the whole like, you live, you die, and he flips the thing, and Joker the entire time's like, oh yeah, now we're talking. Let's do this. And the whole time he's got his finger held on the hammer,
Oh, I didn't know
so that
that.
way
I didn't notice
it
that.
can't go back.
That's pretty cool.
I low-key want to have one of those coins.
Oh,
like
the
a dollar.
double-sided one.
No, a double-sided one to make sure I always get heads.
Cheater, scammer. Any other bro modes?
That's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. Last one for me was finding out that Ramirez was the one who was in the mob.
Yes.
And
What's
whenever
Ramirez?
The
girl.
girl that was with Commissioner Gordon. the
Oh
whole time.
shoot! Yeah.
finding out
yeah.
she's the one that's in the
She's
mob.
like,
Dude,
they
the
pay
entire
for my
time.
mom's medical bills.
Can I tell you something? I
Nerd.
hate the mayor.
Why?
I don't. Him and
His dark eyebrows.
I see him and he's just a punchable person. And especially in Bates Motel.
Yeah, I was
bro.
gonna say I know him from Bates Motel.
I saw him and I said, I want to hit him. I
That's
want to
funny.
punch you. Immediately, he just has a hateable face.
That's funny.
Nestor. He's gonna come for you, bro.
Carbonell.
All right, if that's it for bro moments, let's move into some facts.
Yeah, let me
Tell
hit
me
you
this
with the budget.
Tell me this wild budget.
Dude, this budget is insane. So, the budget to make this movie was $185 million, excuse me, which is a lot,
It's huge.
but this movie's huge. This movie did quite a bit. Opening weekend, it made $154.4 million.
Jeez.
58, excuse me. Gross for U.S. and Canada made $534.9 million, so $500 million. Worldwide made $1,006,234,000
Jeez.
off of 165.
It's insane, man. I had saw that this was the first comic book movie to surpass $1 billion in the worldwide box office.
And then as of 2022, I also have this down. This is the highest grossing film to ever win an Oscar for acting.
Wow.
Wow,
Never would have guessed that.
that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this movie made more money than Batman Begins. Came out in 2005. It made more money than Batman Begins' entire domestic run in only 6 days.
Wow.
6 days, bro.
6 days it took to overcome what Batman Begins made.
That's crazy.
That's why I feel like Batman can have like a cult following.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
people
yeah.
love Batman
People love Batman.
Yeah.
for good
That's
reason.
wild.
For good reason.
Yeah, in allusion to the Oscar wins, Heath Ledger would go on to win a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. This movie also won the Oscar for Best Sound Editing.
Yeah.
On a 2001 iMac. No, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. You know, it always is like that.
Yeah. Actually, in regards to Heath Ledger, whenever he was preparing for his role as the Joker, he would hide away in a motel room for 6 weeks. And during his extended stay of seclusion, he would dive deep into the psychology of the character of the Joker. He devoted himself to developing the Joker's every tick, namely the voice and the sound, the laugh that he does. For the voice, Ledger's goal was to create a tone that didn't echo the work of Jack Nicholson when he performed the Joker in 1989. And Ledger's interpretation of the Joker's appearance was primarily based on the chaotic, disheveled look of Sid Vicious, who was a bass player for a punk rock band called the Sex Pistols. And he wanted to combine his looks with the psychotic mannerisms of Malcolm McDowell's character Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he went deep into the thought patterns and the psychology of who this type of person is, and really nailed the
And
role.
it pays off well too.
I don't know if you guys have the fact down, but I read that Christopher Nolan gave this role to Heath Ledger because he saw how well he did in Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, despite the fact of everyone pretty much saying that he's the wrong choice for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, you got a guy that's coming from a rom-com, like 10 Things I Hate About You, and from Brokeback Mountain, and you're expecting him to pull off a serious role like the Joker.
Yeah.
He can't do it.
Yeah.
And it was really in contention back then, which I wasn't a part of it then. I see it now and I'm like, well, yeah, it's like made for him. Who else could do this?
Well, did you see how they originally got in touch in the first place?
I did not.
Heath Ledger and Christopher Nolan originally got in touch with one another when Batman Begins started filming because Heath Ledger wanted to play Bruce.
Dang.
You wanted to play Bruce.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Christopher Nolan told him that he just didn't think that it was right yet. And then whenever The Dark Knight had come around, Christopher Nolan immediately thought of Heath Ledger as being the Joker.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Another one in regards to Heath Ledger, his sudden death from a drug overdose happened on January 22nd, 2008, which was before the film had actually released. And luckily, he had filmed all of his scenes prior to his passing. But there was a ton of rumors that had started to spread that playing the intense role had taken a huge toll on his mental state, and it caused him to become super depressed and take a wrong combination of drugs as a result, and then eventually dying from that. However, his family had since put out, put a shush to all of those rumors by stating that he was far from depressed and he had a ton of fun actually playing the role and really loved it. However, he did suffer from insomnia throughout his life and would often take sleeping pills throughout, so that way he can get to sleep along with other prescription drugs. And it just so happened that the combination that he took that night happened to be fatal. Yeah.
Dude, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Something that I thought was kind of wild at the time was, so while filming the chase scene with the Joker and the SWAT cars and all that, one of only 4 IMAX cameras was destroyed.
Yeah. I
At
saw
that
that.
time.
One of 4 cameras in
In
the
the
world
world.
at the time was destroyed by Christopher Nolan.
Whatever.
One
man.
of 4
Yeah.
Whatever. You got to do what you got to do for a movie
for
like
that
this.
shot.
Yeah.
1.6 billion, you said?
1 point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wild. I had to hear that this is the only Batman featured adaptation where he is never equipped with a batarangs.
Yeah. They swapped it out for the little fins. is what
Yeah.
they called
And I
it.
like those.
That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy, huh? You always see that, like,
Yeah. You see the Batarang in the movie when like he's hanging up the bat suit,
But
but he's
it's-
thinking he's like, "Oh, I'm done," but he's putting it up.
right.
He
but
doesn't actually use it.
never uses them. It's only those little fin things.
Yeah. Another one actually in regards to Heath Ledger, he directed both of the homemade videos that were used on GCN.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the whole Joker like handheld cam videos, Ledger directed it, filmed it, and everything on his own and came up with the idea. And the first video he did it with Christopher Nolan on set, and Christopher Nolan liked the first one that he did so much that he decided to let him do the second one with no supervision and just let him just do it whatever he wanted.
Dude.
And whenever it came about to be in the movie, Christopher Nolan immediately loved it and knew that, he was going to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
The last one that I have for me is, so the bus crashing backwards into the bank in the opening sequence was much harder to pull off than anticipating, because I actually thought, how the heck do you crash a bus into a brick building? So then it says the bus had to be taken apart and reassembled inside the building.
That's
And
crazy.
the building was a disused post office. This is concealed behind a large false wall and then propelled backwards with an air cannon.
Wild.
Imagine
You gotta get
taking-
creative.
Taking
Yeah.
apart a bus and then putting it back together.
Yeah, you definitely have to get creative for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Any other ones?
I have Timothy Chalamet had said that Heath Ledger's performance was something that made him want to become an actor. That's why
Wow.
he got in contact with Christopher Nolan to be in Interstellar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was because of Heath Ledger that he really wanted to dive into it and work with Christopher Nolan.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
I have one in regards to the marketing for this movie. So trouble had actually arose during a public relations campaign before the movie's release when a website related to The Dark Knight sent out several cakes reportedly from the Joker, and they all contained a cell phone inside, which made the cake vibrate. The cake also had wires sticking out of it, making the cake look like a bomb. One such news station, which received one of the cakes, believed it to be an actual bomb and
Bruh.
terrorist attack, and the entire building had to be evacuated because of it.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah,
Imagine that happening now.
yeah.
Not
Also,
impossible.
in regards to blowing up, the hospital that the Joker blows up was actually an old out-of-use candy factory in the Chicago suburbs, and it was redressed and then imploded for the movie. So that whole sequence that happens right then and there is all in one take.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Only
cool.
had one take to blow the thing up.
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I'm pretty sure you guys knew this one too, but the whole scene whenever he turns around and it doesn't
He's
blow
like,
up.
going,
That was all improvised too.
That's improvised?
Yeah. Yeah, it was all the original way that it was written out was that it was all supposed to blow up in one fell swoop, and it was supposed to blow up and Joker was supposed to walk away from it and into the building. But just that one piece blew up and the explosive malfunctioned. And so Heath Ledger kind of improvised a little bit, and since it wasn't bigger, he kind of turned around and did the whole like and like mess with the detonator, and then as soon as it did blow up, he like gets scared and then runs
Yeah.
onto the bus. That was not in the script.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Last one, Willem Dafoe as the Joker. What do you think?
No.
I don't know. I don't
No.
think he could do it.
No.
I'd seen something else too that said that Adrian Brody. You know Adrian.
Why does that
Brody?
sound so familiar?
He's in all of Wes Anderson's movies. Got tall guy, big nose, black hair. He's in King Kong.
yes. Okay.
no.
He kind of looks.
He did it die?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think he died.
Oh dang!
Going too long. I think he would have been. You know that guy that Harvey Dent intimidates, and he's like the insane
Yeah,
asylum.
yeah.
Kind of looks like that.
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit.
He,
It
so,
does.
so he expressed interest alongside Robin Williams
No.
in playing the Joker.
No.
Robin Williams wanted to play the Joker.
I could see actually him now,
Unfortunately,
But-
could not do that.
not Robin
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah. Pretty
Dang.
wild.
Yeah, facts are done.
All right. Well, let's move on to what didn't work.
There's not very much. These are more nitpicky.
Yeah.
Let me do some of the tiniest nitpicks. I question why Jim Gordon had to fake his death.
To protect his family. He said to protect his family.
I know, but like then he just comes back, like randomly. You know what I mean? I just felt like it wasn't really needed for him to be fake death.
Well, I think in the grand scheme of things, he was kind of like doing like a big brain chess move type thing, because Joker's been doing that the entire time. Like Joker's been one step ahead of everybody the entire time. So I'm thinking he probably thought, this is going to be the way to do it or something like that. I'm not entirely
But like,
sure.
why did he have to die to do that?
I kind of get what you're saying, because why did they have to go to their house and be like, oh, your husband died?
There's no point. Like, he doesn't have to die to be undercover. You know what I mean? I don't know. I was confused about that.
Make it believable.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make it believable that someone got shot.
Maybe.
And someone did something. That he did do something.
Maybe. The other nitpick I had is when Harvey Dent is in the courtroom and the guy he's like really antagonizing the guy, and the guy pulls out a gun and he tries to shoot him, but it's like jams or something, and he like punches him, and he's like, he says something like,
he's all carbon fiber, 28 caliber, something made in China.
he's like, I recommend you buy American. I was
Yeah.
like, this is so, it's kind of too over the top for me, honestly. I didn't like the writing there. I thought it was a little like, oh, the only way I could describe it is just, oh.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about nitpick is that I just, with how it's just like the Joker being so genius, kind of, I don't know, it just makes it seem like everybody is incapable of being a good worker. You know what I mean? Like, how does Joker get away with all of his stuff? You know what I mean? Like, it's like I feel like everybody is just dumb. And they're dumb for the sake of, well, it has to like fall in line with the plot. Like, if you really think about the logistics of the bus pulling out of the bank, getting directly in line, and nobody being like,
How did nobody
hey,
notice
that was
it?
kind of weird. You know, like,
Yeah, well, dude.
there's no real logistics to that. You kind of just have to, skip that. And then there's a bunch of scenes like, how does he get into the hospital as a nurse when you could clearly see
He's got the makeup
the
on.
makeup? Like, and you just kind of have to look over some of those scenes just for the plot to work.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes where I'm like,
Yeah, 'cause
these
there's
people
no
are
way.
unnecessarily like bad at their job,
Yeah.
and it kind of like undermines their place in Gotham because they
Yeah.
just suck, just to suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I think about it, because there's no way that you were gonna cut in front of me on a bus, and I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, who is this bus?
Like, it pulls out and
Who's
there's
driving this bus?"
but that's the last of my nitpicks.
Okay. Anything else for what didn't work?
You hit most of my nitpicks, so I'm chilling.
All right.
There's plenty more. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but like logistically, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like perfect movie,
Okay.
but it's a perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw that like in some certain parts whenever Harvey gets revealed as Two-Face, like some of the CGI in a certain scenes looks a little weird,
Mhm.
but then in other parts it looks great.
It does look sick.
And
Like
then
you can see his teeth.
yeah, like
through his
moving and all that
gums. Yeah, it's
stuff.
cool.
Like there's other parts where it looks amazing, and then there's some parts where it kind of looks a little bad. But regardless, it's still the CGI in this movie still looks incredible for it
To
being
this day.
2008.
Mhm.
You know, and I think it will only continue to age, hopefully, gracefully. So, that's it for me.
Yep.
If you want to move into what did work,
Immediately, I just want to hit on that this movie pulls you in from
Yeah.
the get go.
Yep.
And that's with the writing, and like I didn't leave my room once. This is a 2.5 hour film, and usually I'm antsy where I want to move around or do something. Like I watched the whole movie through and through. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't realize Alexa went to work. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
This movie pulled me in,
Mhm.
and you guys, like I said, I always say I don't like Batman, but this movie was, holy cow. So
Yeah.
it's just already from the beginning, you can tell it had great direction.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the writing is outstanding. The pacing is incredible. The direction is top notch. Acting is on another level.
Yep.
S
I think
tier.
This is like what people look to as inspiration.
Yeah.
This should be like
I even think like the casting is perfect.
Absolutely. Christian Bale as Batman nails it as both Batman and Bruce Wayne.
And that's hard to do.
It is very
That's-
difficult to do.
That's one of the things that I find myself having questions about the Batman
yeah.
is the portrayal of Bruce Wayne.
yeah.
Because Bruce Wayne is known as this like
It's a
playboy.
front.
Like it's a front, but he's like the front is playboy, billionaire, like I got all these things, all this women. I am a beacon of hope as well for other people. People look to me for inspiration and all this stuff. And like Christian Bale, I feel like nails it on the head. But with Robert Pattinson's take on it, Bruce Wayne at this point in his life is still very like emo and
yeah,
like
he's almost like
Yeah.
depressed.
and like is like a hermit and doesn't want to be in the limelight or doing anything like that.
Right.
And what I can only hope for future movies is for them to dive into more of him putting on that facade
Mhm.
and recognizing like, oh, I actually need to be in the public eye. I need to be a symbol of hope for people in my regular life as well as with the Batman.
Well, yeah, and he has to act as opposite as Batman as possible
Yeah.
because he wants there to be no conclusions like maybe he could be Batman, you know? So he's like this real, like over the top, like not even altruistic, like kind of like a jackass,
Yeah.
pretty much to most of the people like in his life.
Yeah.
And like he's always run by money and women, and you know he is a philanthropist, but like it's never for me. It doesn't seem like Bruce Wayne is like the guy you look up to.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of just like one of your old like politicians that just is like flaunt all the time. Whereas the Dark Knight is that center of hope, and that's why he kind of has to overplay the billionaire side of him, so he's even farther from Batman. And I think in Robert Pattinson's case, it's more like he's brooding as Batman, and then he gets out of it, and he's
brooding
He
as
acts
Bruce
no
Wayne.
different, and I don't even think he changes his voice at all either. It's like you kind of look at that and you're like, of course you're Batman. Like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
and two together, it's easy to tell.
Yeah.
You act the same. So yeah, that's one thing I did like about Christian Bale was that he was able to nail both.
Yeah.
I really enjoy just how involved the characters were.
Mhm.
Like Alfred. I think Alfred in this one is incredible. He's
Yeah.
like this, older kind of father, grandpa figure where he's caring about him. Like he even tells him like, he's like, oh, I know you know how, or I know you love to say how much you were right and put it in my face. And he's like, but if that means you getting hurt, I don't want to be right.
Yeah.
Like he's got so much love for him, and he's there always like mentoring him and keeping him safe. He's being a butler, but more of like a family figure, you know.
Yeah.
I love that. And then going into Lucius Fox, freaking love Lucius Fox. I love that. I love the very practical, the very practical nature of him making the suits.
Yeah.
Where he tells them like, "Hey, the suit was great, but I need to be able to turn my head, and I need to be able to be agile and faster and be able to defend against dogs."
I was just about to say that.
And he's like, "Pit bulls or chihuahuas?"
Yeah.
So I like the iterations that we go through as well.
Yeah.
I just think it makes it feel so much more real.
Same. Yeah, I have to agree too. I think the characters are just so solid throughout this movie. Everyone feels so well actualized, and there's nobody here where I'm left feeling like, oh, that character felt flat.
Yeah.
You know, like it felt like everyone just always had their own motivations for things, and again, like it's just the writing here is just incredible. Also, cinematography is
Christopher
phenomenal. It's
Christopher
awesome.
Nolan.
I also love the use of different aspect ratios that Nolan always goes for. He always does a lot of like the widescreen, black bars on top, but then when those IMAX cameras come out for the action sequences, you get the full screen. Like
I never notice it though. That's so
I
strange.
never noticed it either.
I do every time, and anytime I see that full screen come in, I'm like, this is beautiful. I love this, dude. I love his style of using those IMAX cameras because you really get like every detail and like even like certain colors that you wouldn't be able to get with a different kind of camera.
Right.
And like it's just a whole different experience. And I love whenever he goes to use those cameras for the big action sequences because the pictures just feel like larger than life.
Oh yeah, and those big action sequences I think play really well into just how the whole story is structured.
Yeah.
And how it's really structured to keep you engaged the entire time. There's always something that's moving the plot along, whether it be with Harvey Dent, whether it be with Batman, whether it be with Rachel, and how they're all kind of somewhat tied together as well. Like when Batman is going through, oh crap, now I've got to reveal myself because he's going to kill people. You've also got Harvey Dent being under the gun saying like, you're going for their pocketbooks, everybody's coming for you. Not only the mob, the gangs, but also the police, the other government officials that all have their money tied into this. So while Batman's having this immense amount of pressure, so is Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And it's like this ever building sense of pressure and tension throughout the film where Batman he gets a step ahead and then he falls 2 steps behind. He gets 2 steps ahead, he falls 3 because the Joker is always a step ahead.
Yeah.
And you get that final release at the very end when it's not really, I mean, Batman does overcome, but it's also Gotham itself overcomes. The people. Which I love. I mean, I can't say enough how well this is structured.
Yeah.
2.5 hours flies by.
Yeah.
It flew by.
Anything else for what did work?
That's it for me.
All right. Let's move into the who wins the movie category.
I said Heath Ledger.
Me too.
Heath Ledger Heath Ledger as the Joker. You can't beat him.
Can't.
No.
No, you can't beat him.
Now, let me ask you this.
Joaquin Phoenix is better.
You think that's yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Joker more.
What's your favorite performance of the Joker?
Well, it's only between
between them two.
Yeah, because I didn't watch any of
it's
Jack
only
Nicholson.
between them two at this time for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Barry Keoghan when he comes?
I don't know. He could blow it out of the water too, man.
True, I don't
He killed
know.
it in Banshees. It's such a hard question,
It's
right?
so hard.
Because they're so different.
Yeah, they're
They
so
are.
different. They're so different.
They are so different. But
Gotham is even different. And
for me,
True.
I'm going to say Heath Ledger.
You are?
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't put me under the gun like this. I don't know why it's so easy to pick my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Joker, I'm like, we've got two that are just
Phenomenal. They both won Oscars for their role.
They're both great. Like,
yeah.
it depends on what I'm feeling that day.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm feeling I want to feel more sympathetic towards the Joker,
Yeah.
I'm going with Joaquin.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I want to see this force of nature,
Yeah.
I'm going with Heath.
Yeah.
respectable. They both deserve that title.
All the love.
They deserve the title of the best Joker.
Oh, we forgot about Jared Leto, dude.
No,
Nobody cares about
No
that.
one cares about that, man.
Damaged.
I hate his laugh. Freaking
I don't.
I can't believe we
No
forgot
offense to
about
Jared
him.
Leto, but I
Yeah.
mean, like, nobody cares. He just didn't do good.
Yeah.
Like, you're -4.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have to agree with that.
I just think about Purple Lamborghini, and
I remember going and watching Suicide Squad in theaters.
I've never seen it.
I remember watching it in
Purple
theaters.
Lamborghini lurking.
And dude, I remember watching it in theater and being like,
Oh.
the entire time
What?
just being like, dude, what is going on? This movie is freaking trash.
Oh,
And then at
my
the end of it,
favorite.
yeah, and I remember at the end of it hearing the 21 Pilots song, and I was
Yeah.
just like, at the time, I was like, that was the only good part about the movie.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some themes for this movie?
I didn't write any down, so I looked it up.
It's hard to think of some for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So I looked it up, and it said the most important theme that pervaded through the film was perception. The persona of Batman, at least in this trilogy, is based on fear. Criminals think he has of him as something almost mythical. He is a symbol of dread for them and avenging prowling the rooftops at night to hunt them.
Mm.
And that was from Indian Express.
I could take a quote from The Last of Us as the theme and say, endure and survive. Right? Because, I mean, you think of it from the aspect of, like, the city of Gotham, right? Like, and when they finally, show their true colors at the end, and they show that, like, we're more than, all these criminals make us out to be, and we're ready to believe in something that's good. I don't know, the theme of enduring something to where it gets to its actual boiling point, to where something is bound to change because of it's hit the tipping point now.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something there.
For sure.
Justice versus corruption.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
another big one.
I mean, there's plenty here. There's kind of
Yeah.
crazy stuff there.
There's I feel like it's kind of hard to pick a theme for something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if that's it for the themes, what are we rating this?
I'm gonna say even with some of my minor nitpicks and gripes, I'm gonna give it a 10.
Yeah.
I mean, a 10 doesn't have to be like perfect, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's the feeling you get after you finish it, where you just
Yeah.
go,
That was
like your jaw hits the floor, and you're like, "That's a phenomenal movie."
yeah.
And I get it every time I watch this.
Me too.
Every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo you too as well and say it's a 10.
All right, I respect that. I give it an 8.
All right.
Not my favorite, but I will recommend it, and it's definitely a great movie.
Yeah.
It for sure is.
Well, I'm glad I changed your mind.
Yeah, I still don't think like I like Batman, but definitely
Don't have to. The movie is just great
It
on
definitely
its own.
is. It's definitely a good movie.
Yeah.
I will say it is a good movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Well-
you did change my mind.
Yep.
Did
Mission
something good.
accomplished.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess with that being said, that's the end of the episode. Sorry the camera went out. We talked a long time about this movie because it is just phenomenal.
It's a good movie.
That good. So if you haven't seen the movie, again, we really recommend you check it out before it leaves streaming services or pick up a copy. And as always, because it's the end of the episode, we're going to be getting into next week's stuff. But before we do that, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, or rate and review the show, and subscribe to the channel or anything like that on the audio platforms, so that way you're staying up to date with the episodes that we're putting out each week. If you want to be notified on YouTube, you can hit the bell notification. And if you're wanting to let us know what you're thinking of the episodes, leave us a comment on the YouTube channel or hit us up through our methods of contact in our episode descriptions. We got emails there, as well as our social media accounts, Letterboxd accounts, all that stuff. Let us know what you're thinking, and tell us what you're liking, what you're not liking, what we could do to change things up and make things better. It's really all up to you guys. If we don't hear any suggestions or anything like that, then we think we're doing great. So, if there's any possible suggestions or anything that you guys want to let us know, or maybe even just jump in on the conversation, maybe something we didn't talk about that you really want to hear our opinion on or something like that, write a comment or a review or something like that, and we'll address those. But as always, we're going to reveal the next pick for next week, which is Nick's pick.
Yes, we're going to be watching the movie called The Place Beyond the Pines. It's got Ryan Gosling, it's got Bradley Cooper, it's got all the people we love. This is the movie where Netflix did me dirty. I was watching half of it, I paused it, and I was going to return to it maybe the next day, and I go, and it's off Netflix.
Jeez.
So I think you bought it for me.
Yes.
It was either my birthday or for Christmas, one of the past Christmases, and finally going to finish it. And what I have seen of it, I enjoyed.
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to watch it. I think it's also streaming on Peacock.
Yes.
So if you've got Peacock, enjoy it there. If not, Netflix does not have it anymore. So
Right.
yeah, look for
Yeah.
it.
I remember
excited to watch
2013.
Yeah, I remember when I first watched this movie, I was like obsessed with Ryan Gosling's character here because I just thought he looked so cool. Like his whole character of like the dirt bike riding, covered in tattoos, Metallica ripped tee guy who's pulling off bank heists. Like I was just like, this guy's sick, dude. I love this guy. This guy's tight. I want to be him.
Yeah.
And this whole movie started my love for Ryan Gosling as an actor. And like it brought me down the rabbit hole of watching movies like Drive and even his like more lighthearted roles like La La Land and like even some of the rom-coms he's been in, like Crazy Stupid Love with like Emma Stone and
Come on,
Steve
you can't
Carell
forget
and all
about
that
The
stuff.
Notebook.
Yeah, even stuff like that, The Notebook. Like it just it led me down this whole path where I was just like, man, this guy's just a great actor. And now I'm about to go watch him whenever he comes out in Barbie.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Barbie because I don't want.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, you got Ryan Gosling, directed by Greta Gerwig. The script's written by her as well as Noah Baumbach, who did Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's stacked.
I'm excited for it. As
Everything's
much as
working for it.
I'm about to be in the theater with a bunch of little kids, being in there being like,
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
being like, Gosling is here. He's literally me. Like, so, yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I haven't
All right.
watched this movie in a long time.
Let's
so-
see
I've
if it
never
holds
seen it.
up. Let's see if it holds up, and let's see if you actually like it.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm excited.
Tune in next week to hear what we have to say about The Place Beyond the Pines. As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.